age-old rivalry, and it means a lot tonight for the Arkadelphia Badgers, who are on a 2-game win streak and look to finish this regular season on a roll and get ready for the playoffs. Arkadelphia on the road tonight in the rain, taking on Ashdown. This is Jeff Roots along with me, Jack Bennington, Caleb Bird, Jim Rothwell, and, of course, Chris Babb. Glad to bring it to you and glad that you have joined us both on the radio here on KDEL FM 100.9 and also on our live stream. We are glad that you are with us, glad to be able to bring it to you on this rainy night. It is not raining hard right now, but, Jack, we went through some hard rain on the way here.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, driving down to Ashdown through Texarkana is kind of not always the best drive to begin with, but it made it a little bit more difficult not being able to see 100 feet in front of you.
It was a little bit hard to get here, but the rain is not hard right now, and we hope that it will not be hard during the game. I'll tell you what, Caleb, I'm surprised at just how good this field condition seems to be, considering the amount of rain that's fallen.
Yeah, from the ticket stand to the visitor side press box, you have to walk. There's not a sidewalk anywhere in the stadium, so you have to walk through the grass. And tonight we had to walk through the mud, so all our shoes are muddy, but out in the field it does not look muddy at all. It looks like some pretty good field conditions. The sideline, on the other hand, is standing water, a puddle of standing water right here on the visitor sideline, but the field looks like we shouldn't have too many problems tonight.
You may be able to tell if you're watching the live stream right now, and we'll tell you about it if you're listening on the radio. There is a little bit of a crown on this field, so there's a little bit of drainage to the sideline, and Jack, that has created the puddles here on the near sideline, and I'm sure they're on the far sideline as well. We see some worn areas, but actually the grass is not in too bad a shape, especially near the sideline, so hopefully that means we'll see some clean football with not too many people falling down as they try to make cuts.
Yeah, I mean, like from up here, it looks like a pretty decent field, but I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it looks after at least just a couple of minutes of play. Guys running up and down the field and getting tackled all over. It'll be interesting to see how it looks after that.
Let's talk about the Arkadelphia Badgers for a moment. Caleb, this is the part of the schedule where Arkadelphia knew they could make some hay, but you can't slip up at all. After starting 0-5, they've won 2 in a row now. This is a talented team for Ashdown and one that has been on and off. Not a strong record, but they played Nashville close last week.
Yeah, Arkadelphia is starting 0-5, but you really got to think about 0-2 in conference. That's the important part. Those 3 non-conference games don't really count when it comes to the playoff race. So now Arkadelphia sitting at 2-2 in conference, 500, and they beat everyone they've expected to beat so far. And so tonight, it's another game that they need to win to get that 3rd spot in the conference.
We'll take a 2-minute break for our radio audience, and then we'll be right with you with more of the pregame show. We'll be back in 2 minutes. And for our live stream audience, we are back with you right now. And as you look at the live stream, you see an age-old stadium here. It is, I kind of like it, actually, in Ashdown, simply because it's a stadium that has a lot of history between these two teams at this location. The home side press box has grown a little bit as time has gone by, but it's not quite big enough for us. So we're on the visitor side. That means you're going to get a lower angle for the live stream, but you are going to be able to see the game tonight. We have a strong enough signal that we believe we'll be able to bring you the visual as well as the audio tonight. We're hearing in the background on the far side in the bandstand, we're hearing the Ashdown band present the national anthem. The Arkadelphia band not here because of the rain. They're getting ready for contest tomorrow, so we won't be showing an Arkadelphia halftime show. And of course, we're on the opposite side where we'd normally be to show a halftime show anyway. But we are going to be able to bring you the game itself, and we'll have these pregame festivities ending soon. We'd bring you the national anthem, but we can't quite get enough sound from the band across the way to bring it to you, and you may be able to hear just a little bit of it in the background. But we are just a few minutes away from football, about 10 minutes away from the kickoff. The two teams have not made their way onto the field yet. And, Jack, there aren't too many fans that have made their way to the stands yet, but we see a lot of them in the picnic area down here by the concession stand, so we are going to have some fans at the game tonight.
Yeah, those fans are probably a little bit smarter if they're sitting in the picnic area. It looks like it's going to be raining for the majority of the night, if not the entire game, so trying to stay as dry as long as they can before kickoff.
On the Arkadelphia side, right in front of us, we see a lot of umbrellas, and I think there are people under those umbrellas, Caleb. Arkadelphia is known for a bunch of fans that travel very well. Parents and longtime fans, alumni of Arkadelphia High School love to come to the games. They've been to Ashdown many, many times, and they're going to show up again tonight. Not too surprising, though, that you might wait in your car until just before kickoff with the rain coming down.
Yeah, there are fans here for the Badgers, made the trip in the rain, but there might not be as many. There's not as many as I'd expect, actually, and I think maybe part of that is the band is not here, so some of the band parents decided to stay home for this journey to Ashdown.
And no doubt it's going to grow just before kickoff as well. We saw that in the Watchdog game, actually, just last night. A much bigger crowd showed up in the first couple of minutes of the game than showed up the minutes before the game, and I think the rain had something to do with that, or the wet weather had something to do with that as well. So we do expect some fans here tonight, but we know we'll also have a large audience on radio and a large audience on the live stream as folks are perhaps not traveling to Ashdown in a heavy rain that we drove through on the way down here tonight. Let's talk about Ashdown a little bit. This is a program that's put together a lot of Division I athletes, Division II athletes. We've seen some at Ouachita, some at Henderson, some at the University of Arkansas, and other colleges in Division I and Division II that just haven't been able to put it together for a championship season.
Yeah, the last 2 years, Ashdown's best player has gone to play for the University of Arkansas. This year's team does not seem to have as many star athletes as Ashdown teams have in the past. And like you said, it looks on paper like they're going to win the state title every year. Just something happens to them, and they're not able to do so. Last year, their two best players got injured near the end of the season, and they weren't able to put together. Their playoff run actually ended at Arkadelphia in the quarterfinals of the state playoffs. So this year's team does not have as many athletes. They had one star player who was the quarterback, transferred earlier in the season, transferred to Arkansas High School in Texarkana, and so now they did not have that star player. They've switched their offense. They're running a wing T now, and they're going to look to grind this game out against Arkadelphia. We're not going to see a flashy Ashdown team that we usually look for, but there still are some athletes out on the field. I saw in the Hootens magazine their running back supposedly can stand underneath the basketball goal, jump up, and touch the rim with his elbow. 5'11" height there on the running back, so that's a pretty impressive athlete.
Won't be any basketball goals on the field tonight, but yeah, you're right. He's a tremendous
jump over the
athlete.
pile for a touchdown.
Maybe he'll jump over the goalpost. Kimon Nutt scored a touchdown for him last week. Now, this is a guy who, coming out of that formation, Nashville had trouble finding. He is only 5'10". He's 160. Scored the opening touchdown in the game last week. And then after a while, Nashville got to where they could figure out this offense, and they were able to stop it and get the win against Ashdown. But this is part of the trick, is to try to find the ball when you're playing against a team that runs this type of offense. On the other hand, if the ball is wet tonight, that could be a problem for Ashdown.
Well, also, last week, Nashville, I do not think, had any film on Ashdown running this offense. So that was a bit of a surprise whenever they came out in the wing T formation last week against Nashville. I don't think they were expecting that. So this week, our Arkadelphia's coaches have had a full week of watching film of Ashdown running this offense, and they're going to be ready to defend against it.
On the season, Ashdown opened up with a 10-7 loss to Hamburg at home. Then they went on the road and won 2 in a row. They beat DeQueen 24-14 and then won big against Hope 49-14 in what you know is a rivalry game between the Bobcats of Hope High School and the Panthers of Ashdown High School. And then after an open date, they began the conference race with a loss to Haskell Harmony Grove 36-20. Now that's a surprise, Jack, because Haskell Harmony Grove really had trouble moving the ball against Arkadelphia last week.
Yeah, especially, like you said, Jeff, last week Haskell Harmony Grove just had a rough time, really, at Badgers Stadium, falling 35-6 to the Badgers. So it's kind of interesting, hearing that score line and, playing against Haskell Harmony Grove last week. It's kind of interesting to see as to whether or not, this Ashdown team is different from that game against Haskell Harmony Grove just a couple weeks ago.
Then Ashdown went to Bauxite and gave up 59 points to Bauxite, losing 59-21. They bounced back the next week at Malvern, winless Malvern, beat them 47-15. And then the last week at home against Nashville, they lost it 27-20. And what might have been their most impressive game was still a loss, but only a 7-point loss to Nashville. Another action tonight in the conference, Robinson will take on Bauxite. Caleb, that is quite a matchup.
And both those teams are undefeated. You wouldn't expect that out of Bauxite to be undefeated heading into the Robinson game, but Bauxite's played well so far this year, but they're going to have a tough finish to the season. They're 7-0. They still have yet to play Nashville, Robinson, or Arkadelphia. So, they've won some games and they've played well, but you're really going to see how good this Bauxite team is in the next few weeks.
7-0 with 3 very difficult games to go for Bauxite, and that game will be an interesting one tonight at Bauxite. Robinson at Bauxite tonight. Nashville plays at Haskell Harmony Grove. Nashville figures to be the heavy favorite there.
Yeah, last week we saw Haskell Harmony Grove visit Arkadelphia. The Badgers beat them 35-6, so I could definitely see Nashville coming out with a big victory over the Cardinals.
Fountain Lake plays at Malvern tonight, and Jack, both of those teams 0-4 in conference play. Somebody's going to get a win tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be, I assume, a really scrappy game, like you said, Jeff. Both teams just trying to get their first conference win of the season. So definitely expect a big fight down there.
So Ashdown, a team that was 9-4 last year and made a little bit of noise in the playoffs, 3-4 coming into the game tonight against Arkadelphia. We've got a little bit of rain coming at us also. We're pulling up the, for you now on the live stream, we're pulling up the radar. And what we're seeing is some rain to the south and the west of us, and it seems to be moving in this direction. So we hope we get this game underway very soon. We're about 4 minutes away, and if we can do that, we'll see some football before very much rain comes, because it's not raining very hard right now, just kind of dripping a little bit in the field. Everybody's in good condition. Arkadelphia has its captains on the side of the field. You see them in the live stream, and on the opposite side, the 4 captains for Ashdown. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and then we'll come right back with the beginning of the game. This is a radio break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. And with the live stream, we are right back here with you now. The two teams coming to the middle of the field. The captains for the action tonight, familiar captains for Arkadelphia. We see Gabe Goodman out there. We see Hatley out there. Some good work tonight all year from Haney and also from Tatamy. Their captains tonight also. Caleb, these guys meant a lot to Arkadelphia.
Yeah, these guys have done a really good job this year leading this team, as well as leading it, I'm sure, in the locker room, but also on the field. That's where we can see their leadership qualities. Tatamy doing it on both sides of the football this year. Last week he only played 2 plays on offense and caught a touchdown on both of them. So Hatley is definitely a special athlete and a special player to be out there for the Badgers, as well as the other captains. They've all done a good job this year.
Other captains for Arkadelphia, going to see Josh Wallace out there. Rubel is a captain. Of course, Cannon Turner a captain, and Kai Harrison. The 8 guys representing Arkadelphia at the middle of the field really mean something to this program. Arkadelphia is one of the toss. They're going to receive the kickoff when we get started here in a few moments. The two teams just about to make their way onto the field. A bit of a home crowd is starting to gather on the home side here at Ashdown, and Arkadelphia is beginning to see more fans file in with their umbrellas. The rain is dripping a bit right now and expected to get heavier during the game. It is a very strong likelihood that we're going to see a lot of rainfall during this football game. And so, Jack, the first quarter is going to mean a lot. It's going to be the best playing conditions.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like I mentioned earlier, these field conditions are just going to get rougher and rougher as the game goes along. So definitely this first quarter, these first possessions of both teams are going to be very vital in terms of the playing conditions to be able to get down the field and score for the first time tonight.
We are less than 2 minutes away from kickoff, and both teams will be making their way onto the field very, very soon. We're in Ashdown, Arkansas. It is Arkadelphia High School taking on Ashdown High School, both AHSs in the conference. Arkadelphia comes in on a 2-game winning streak. Ashdown lost, but maybe played their best game just last week against Nashville, lost it 27-20. Arkadelphia next week will be taking on another opponent that Arkadelphia will be really facing a huge game against Bauxite, a game in which Arkadelphia could possibly pass Bauxite in the seedings for the playoffs if things go well tonight and if they beat Bauxite next week. And then Malvern, a team that is struggling this year. So we're just about ready for kickoff, just about a minute away. Both teams, though, waiting a little bit before they come out onto the field. The officials are having a long conversation at midfield. And, guys, I think it might be a good idea to start the game soon with the weather coming. But nobody seems to be in much of a hurry right now.
We got all night.
So we'll tell you that both teams are just about ready. Now, Ashdown has been in its indoor practice facility. We do see the rain starting to come down a little bit harder right now. You may not be able to see that too clearly on the live stream, but it is happening. The rain's starting to fall a little bit harder now. We might see some hard rainfall here in the next few minutes. Ashdown onto the field. They make their way to the home side, and here comes Arkadelphia running into your picture right now. If you're watching the live stream, the Arkadelphia High School Badgers. And this is a team that is excited about what they're going to be able to do for the rest of this season. They need a win tonight against Ashdown to pick their third win up for the season and be able to stay on this roll as they march toward playoffs. They'd have a winning record in conference play tonight if Arkadelphia can get the win. The Badgers are going to return the kickoff. And Arkadelphia, Jack, has been dangerous all year long on kickoff returns.
Yeah, a lot of teams have kind of, as the season's gone along, it seems like teams have kind of just gone away from kicking to the Badgers. But when they end up doing so, it's really a hit or miss. Either Arkadelphia is able to return it all the way for a touchdown or not do very well on the other end. So expect the Badgers to be ready to field this kickoff and try and return it back for a touchdown.
It's not a hard rain, but it's a steady rainfall coming down right now. We think it might get a little harder soon as the radar is showing quite a bit of rain to our south and our west and heading in this direction, but no lightning so far as we know. We'll have to keep you apprised of that. The last thing you want to see in a football game is lightning because of all the people out here in the open and because of the delays that would cause. Here comes Arkadelphia on the field, getting ready to receive the opening kickoff. Carlos Haney is going to be deep. They're also going to send Buster Thomas deep, and, of course, Victor Tatamy. He'll be the man in the middle, standing at about the 5-yard line, waiting to receive this kickoff. Ashdown is going to kick off. Arkadelphia will put its offense on the field first. Ashdown is lining up to kick the ball on the ground, though. They're teeing up with the ball sideways, not with the ball teed up for a normal kickoff. So based on the tee, they're going to either onside kick or just squib it down the field. And here it comes. It is going to be a line drive shot. It is knocked down by Tatamy, now picked up. He's at the 25. He makes it to the 30, and he'll be tackled, driven back from there. But they should give him forward progress at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that was an interesting tactic there from Ashdown's kickoff team. They took the ball, placed it sideways on the field, and then ran straight ahead and towed the ball. Just kicked it with his toe. Usually when you teach someone how to kick a soccer ball, how to catch a football, you tell them to kick it with the meat of their foot, with the shoelaces. Well, that kicker just kicked it straight with his toe, straight ahead. Line drive kick. He got some air under it, surprisingly. You expect that to kind of just bounce across the ground. He got some air under it, and Tatamy did well to pick it up and get a little bit of a return, and the Badgers have some decent field position here to start the game.
He really did do a good job because that looked like it was going to be very difficult to field, kind of a curveball in the rain, but he kept it good field position. Here's a deep pass on first down. Tatamy looking for it, can't find it at the 45-yard line of Ashdown. It's second down and 10. Arkadelphia at its own 30-yard line.
Yeah, that time Arkadelphia just trying to catch Ashdown, not paying attention as they just try and throw it deep to Tatamy, catch him off guard. But that time not able to do so as Tatamy wasn't able to come up with that pass.
Yeah, the past few weeks, Tatamy has been able to burn less athletic cornerbacks, but this week Nashville has that athleticism and that talent. It's going to be a bit more difficult for Tatamy to run past them.
Second down, 10 yards to go. Tatamy in the backfield this is Hatley in the backfield. He'll run the ball across the 30. He'll get only a yard or two, and it's going to be third down and long coming as Ashdown responded well to the run to the right.
Yeah, and that's going to kind of be one of the most important key things tonight is that just trying to get Zion Hatley going. That time only able to pick up 1 or 2 yards on that second down run. So look to see him get a lot of carries early to try to get him confident in this game.
Third down, 9 yards to go. Xavier Sanders, a running back, is going to line up at the corner. Now they're going to switch men, and they're trying to cover up Tatamy with their best defensive back. Here is a pitch to the right side, opposite side of the field, though, and Hatley's going to get some yardage, but not enough for a first down. They'll bring him down at the 36-yard line, and it is fourth down.
Yeah, fourth down, but Turner's going to stay on the field, and now they're going to pull out the punt team. Goodman's going to come out to punt the football. So fourth and a bit too long to go for it here.
Goodman kicks beautifully, of course, punting and kicking. On a punt tonight, it might disappear above the lights. These are low lights here in Ashdown. We'll see if we can all keep an eye on the football here. Here's the punt. And it is going to be high and allowed to bounce. Now it'll go inside the 20 to the 15 to the 14-yard line. A very effective punt.
Yeah, and it looked like that time that Gabe Goodman was a lot closer to the long snapper than we have seen him in past weeks. But still able to get a very long punt off inside the 20-yard line. Exactly what you want for the Badgers in that situation, which will bring up a not-so-good field position for Ashdown the first possession of the game.
Yeah. They lined him up at the 7 yards behind the center instead of 12 yards behind, and he got a good snap, but Ashdown did get reasonably close to blocking it. Ball at the 15-yard line now, and here comes the Ashdown offense. And once again, they run a misdirection offense. They've changed offenses as they have changed quarterbacks. They've got halfbacks behind the 2 tackles and 1 running back behind the quarterback who is under center. And he is going to pitch it, and they're going to do a sweep to the left side. Some yardage there, but Arkadelphia will gain tackle, and it's a gain of maybe 4, close to 5 yards.
Yeah, running the ball against this Arkadelphia defense has not been a recipe for success this year, especially in the conference slate. We've seen Haskell Harmony Grove try to do it last week, and they hardly got any yardage against the Badgers. They didn't really pick up more than 5 first downs, I don't think, until the fourth quarter against the second team. So, it would be interesting to see if Ashdown get anything going on the ground here.
He got only 2 on that carry as he went to the left, and now we got movement. That's going to be a 5-yard penalty against Ashdown, so they're going to have second down over again, but it'll be 2nd and 13 yards to go as they're going to move back deeper into their own end. Well, the kicking game will be important for Arkadelphia tonight, and so far, Gabe Goodman has given Arkadelphia a break by putting Ashdown deep, and so now at 2nd and 13, they're way back to their own 12-yard line. First possession of the first quarter for Ashdown. Arkadelphia has had 1 possession and punted the ball away. The Ashdown Panthers will send a man in motion. Now they're going to run right up the middle, and the draw gets nothing. Arkadelphia says they have it. Arkadelphia may have recovered a fumble, and they have. Arkadelphia has the football in great field position.
Yeah, Arkadelphia gets the football there on the fumble, and they covered that play well. Very well. As Jason Campbell running off the field, his hands in the air, acting like an airplane. The team's excited. And Arkadelphia's going to have some really good field position here. The inside the 10-yard line, it looks like at the 9. We're at a low position, but it looks like the 9-yard line for the Badgers here to take over. And this is a great situation to get 7 points on the board.
If you're watching the live stream, you're seeing a lower angle than usual, and we are too. So it's a little hard to see down that close to the goal line exactly where they are, but we'll take the scoreboard's word for it because he's looking from a higher angle. They're at the 9-yard line, folks. It's 1st and goal, Arkadelphia, the 9-yard line. Here's Cannon Turner at quarterback. Hatley is with him in the backfield. He'll run to the left. Hatley's got momentum. He's inside the 5-yard line. Good run on 1st down.
And that's really what you wanted, is to keep getting Zion Hatley touches, that time going to the left side, able to pick up 4 yards on that play, looks like it. So look for the Badgers to continue feeding the ball and trying in the end zone here.
Arkadelphia looks to the sideline for the play. Badgers looking for the first score of the game. 9 minutes left, first quarter. Arkadelphia trying to take advantage of a turnover. Here is a run up the middle. Hatley takes it to the left side now. He's hit at the 5. He'll break 2 tackles. He's still going. He made it! Touchdown, Arkadelphia!
Yeah, Hatley just dancing with the Ashdown defenders there to get in the end zone. It looked like he was going to have a big hole on the power play, and then he bounced it outside. The hole closed up quickly. He had to bounce the ball outside, and then kept bouncing it outside and bouncing it outside and bouncing it outside, and finally he just bounced off a defender and in the end zone. So really nice run there from Hatley, just waiting for his hole and waiting for his moment and getting the touchdown when the moment finally came.
Yeah, this is the start Arkadelphia was looking for. 6-0. Goodman will try to make it 7-0. Important to have a good snap and hold in this wet weather. It is a good snap, a good hold. The kick is up, and the kick lands on the elementary school. It's good, and it's Arkadelphia 7, Ashdown 0. 8:50 left. We're in the first quarter, and we'll take a radio break. We'll be back with more of the broadcast in 30 seconds. And with the live stream, we are right back here with you as Arkadelphia is set to kick off. Jack, Arkadelphia need a nice fast start against this dangerous Ashdown team, and they have it, 7-0.
Yeah, after that 3-and-out, you're kind of disappointed to see that first drive in like it did, but the defense stepped up big time there, forcing a takeaway. Badgers having the ball in red zone position, able to convert with that with a Zion Hatley touchdown. That's really exactly what you want to start in this first few minutes of this first quarter of this game.
You're seeing on the screen for the live stream our sponsors. We are so thankful to all of our sponsors bringing you Badger football all year long on the live stream. First year we've done it, video live stream. Worked out a few kinks in the first couple of games, and glad to be able to bring it to you even on the road. We weren't sure how well it would work on the road in a location like Ashdown's visitor side, but lo and behold, it is working well. Ashton Spence on camera tonight. She is a junior at Ouachita Baptist University and running the camera tonight. And she is warmly dressed and trying to keep everything dry. Here's the kickoff coming your way from Gabe Goodman. If he's got good footing, he's going to kick it a long way. He's got a history of putting the ball in the end zone or very close to it. Goodman puts a foot into it, and it's a line drive shot that is going to go into the end zone and back out of the end zone. Arkadelphia has such an advantage with Goodman. We say it game after game, but it's worth saying over and over again, Caleb. It means a lot when the other team cannot return a kickoff in a high school football game.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that ball even touched the end zone. I think it touched hit the ground outside of the back of the end zone. So that was a really nice kick from Goodman. And like you said, he's definitely puts Arkadelphia at an advantage because now, especially in a team against Ashdown, they have such good athletes, such good kickoff returners, punt returners, and whenever Goodman's able to keep the ball out of their hands, that definitely works to the advantage of the Badgers.
The quarterback for Ashdown is Bradley Bearden. Here is a run. It'll go to the left side. There's a little bit of room there as they go to the far sideline for a pickup on first down. We're going to see a lot of runs wide, but Arkadelphia, Jack, is good with that defensive speed at covering sideline to sideline.
Yeah, that's really a key asset to have that speed and agility on the outside to be able to bring down the shifty runners of Ashdown. That time, Ashdown being able to pick up looks to be 5 yards on that play. But definitely a very important thing to keep an eye on is these Badgers cornerbacks taking down these running backs.
Ashdown has good speed in the backfield, and he did get 5 yards on the sprint to the left side. 2nd down and 5. Ashdown, Arkadelphia leading 7-0 in the first quarter. Misdirection play. They're going to trap it back to the right side, but Arkadelphia is there, and there's a loss on the play. Misdirection is part of this offense, but Arkadelphia didn't fall for it.
Yeah, Arkadelphia played that perfectly, and it looked to me like it was Josh Wallace on the tackle there. So Josh Wallace was playing linebacker, and he, made his read, and he didn't get fooled. He watched, and when you're playing middle linebacker, especially against offense like this, you're supposed to watch the guard, and the guard's going to tell you exactly where the run's going to go. And he was watching his guard on that play, and the guard told him exactly where the play was going to go. If you're looking in the backfield, you're going to get caught by the misdirection. But that time, Wallace was watching the offensive line. He read the play well, and he made a tackle in the backfield. So really nice job there by Josh Wallace.
Spoken by a former offensive lineman himself, Caleb Bird. Lost 3 on the play. It's 3rd down and 8. Looks like a pass play. He's going to throw it to the sideline. Oh, he completed it. Big play up to the 35, to the 40, to the 44-yard line. Nice pass. He got it out there to an open receiver on the far sideline. Receiving that pass for Ashdown was Kamon Nutt, who had that touchdown last week against Nashville. And Arkadelphia did drag him down. They'll mark it at the 43, 1st down and 10.
Yeah, that being Ashdown's first pass attempt all night, it kind of took the Badgers a little bit, a little surprised by that pass attempt, but obviously it's 3rd down and long situation, so Badgers got to keep an eye on and make sure they don't miss out on those opportunities.
To the line of scrimmage comes the Panthers after making their first down of the evening. They want to run it to the right side. Arkadelphia pursues well. He tries to cut it up, but it's well defended, and there's a gain of 1, maybe 2 yards on the play.
Yeah, and these gang tackles are going to be really working in the advantage of the Badgers. That time, it was Cole Turner who made the first hit on that play. He stood the running back up, and then the rest of his teammates came and finished the tackle out. But I'll tell you what, we saw earlier in the game, when Arkadelphia gets in those gang tackle situations, they start to rip on the football, and that's what Turner was doing there. He held the running back up, the rest of his teammates came, and Turner just kept ripping on the football, trying to get it out of the hands. There wasn't a fumble on that play, but eventually we could see more turnovers caused because these Badgers really fly to the football.
The rain has stopped, at least momentarily. 2nd down, 9 yards to go. Only 1 yard gained on that carry. Now they're going to hand off, trap play right up the middle, but Arkadelphia responds immediately, and that gain is going to be stopped at the 45-yard line, maybe just across the 45. Regardless, Jack, it's 3rd down and long.
Yeah, that time Ashdown wouldn't fool anybody there. Badgers could easily see the run was going up the middle, a trap play there. Badgers able to take down the Panthers there, only picking up maybe a yard on that 2nd down attempt, but makes it another, like you said, Jeff, another 3rd down and long. Interesting to see if Ashdown goes back to the pass or they try another run here.
back half of the football is touching the 45-yard line, so we will say 3rd down and 8 from the 45-yard line. Ashdown converted on 3rd down with a pass on its last 3rd down opportunity on this drive. And now flags go down. I think that's going to go against Ashdown, a false start. That'll back them up by 5 more.
You notice in that play, Ashdown moved into the shotgun. So they got out of their wing T formation. They moved into a bit of a pistol spread formation. So they're reverting back to the offense they ran early in the season. The offense they've historically run, the spread now in this 3rd and long situation. You're going to see the quarterback once again be in the shotgun in the pistol formation. And we'd like to see a pass here from the Panthers.
Bradley Bearden is not a big quarterback at 5'10", 160. And now flags go down again. This again will go against Ashdown, as they are not quite in sync yet. Bearden, as I was saying, not a big quarterback at 5'10", 160, but he knows how to run both of these offenses, although teammates have had false starts the last 2 plays. Now it's going to be 3rd down and very long all of a sudden as the ball is back to the 35-yard line. And he will go to the sideline and talk to his coach. Bearden comes back to the huddle now, and they'll line up. 15 seconds left to get the play underway. 5:31 left, clock running. We're in the first quarter tonight. Arkadelphia leads at 7-0. Bearden at quarterback in the shotgun, as Caleb said. He wants to pass. He will look to the sideline. He fires it deep, and that ball is incomplete. Well defended by Arkadelphia.
Yeah, really perfect defense there by K.J. Terry. He started off at the cornerback position, and then Ashdown surprised him. They started out in safety, and Ashdown surprised the Badgers, came out with 2 wide receivers. Terry shifted down to the cornerback position, was in man coverage, and played it perfectly, pressing his receiver all the way down the field without getting called for a penalty, and then knocking the ball right out of his hands into the ground. So really nice job by Terry on that play, and now Ashdown's going to have to punt the football.
Bearden is also the punter. He's going to have to catch this snap in rain that is starting to fall harder. And now flags go down again. Flags go down again. Arkadelphia sent 2 men deep looking for a kick return here, at least a catch, instead of letting the ball roll. Tatamy is deep. Along with him is Carlos Haney. We're waiting for the mark-off. It's going to go against the Badgers, but the 5-yarder will not keep Ashdown from lining up in punt formation. They're just going to punt from the 40 instead of the 35. 4th down and 13. 5:16 left first quarter. Arkadelphia 7, Ashdown 0. It's a good snap. Here's the kick. It is going to be returnable, I believe. No, they're going to let it go, and it takes a big Ashdown roll inside the 10, down to the 5-yard line, maybe the 6. Whoa, what a big roll on the wet turf. That helped Ashdown flip the field, but Jack Arkadelphia will send its offense back out there as the rain begins to come down harder now.
Yeah, as soon as Ashdown's punt team came on the field, the rain just started coming down so much harder. So look to see a lot more running from the Badgers here on this drive, especially backed up deep in their own territory. But with this field starting, I'm sure, to get much more hard to play on, look to see the run play a big part in this drive.
This is the hardest rain we've seen here at the stadium tonight, and it comes as Arkadelphia has a 1st down at its own 5-yard line. And flags go down as they get the play underway. Offsides against Ashdown is what we believe it is. Let's wait and see if the officials will call it that. The officials who are soaking wet at this point. You're not allowed to run around on the field as an official with an umbrella. Can't take an umbrella out on the field.
Not a poncho either.
Those are wet guys just like the players, and it is really coming down now. But no lightning, no delay. We're going to continue to play football. We're just going to play in a hard rain. 1st down and 5. Arkadelphia at its own 10. They give it to Hatley. Hatley, nice break. He's up to the 15. He's to the 20, 25, 30. He'll be caught and dragged down at the 40-yard line, but that's a big-time run of 30 yards and a 1st down and 10 Arkadelphia.
Yeah, that's a huge run for Hatley, and for multiple reasons. I mean, in itself, a 35-yard run is going to be good for the team, but also gets them out of the shadow of their own goal line. You know, a few weeks ago in the heavy rain against Nashville, Arkadelphia gave up 2 touchdowns on bad snaps. So anytime for a bad snap now, won't have that kind of situation of the ball falling in the end zone and possibility for a defensive touchdown.
With the weather as it is, Arkadelphia is lining up in a running formation, and they are going to run it with Turner. He's going to make it across the line of scrimmage, picking up 3, maybe 4 yards on the carry. That's a good gain when the defense knows you're going to run because the rain is so hard you don't want to pass the ball. That's good blocking to be able to pick up 4 yards.
Yeah, it's so hard to stop this Badger offense, even when they are just running the ball, because you got Zion Hanley and you got Caden Turner, both huge runners on this field.
2nd down, 6 yards to go. Carry to the right side. Hatley breaks through. A flag goes down. I think this is coming back. It's a long, long run inside the 30 to the 20 to the 10. He goes all the way to the end zone, but there's a flag down back where we expect to see a blocking penalty. It will be against Arkadelphia, so this touchdown is going to come back.
Yeah, it was just as Hatley hit the gap. He had a little tiny crease, and Hatley hit it hard. But I think the referee might have seen a hold, to create that crease. So unfortunate for the Badgers there, because that was a really, really good run for Hatley. He really showed a lot of explosiveness on that run to make the cut and then explode through a really athletic Ashdown defense and outrun all of them to the end zone.
Absolutely. He really was patient, waited for a block, and then he headed upfield. And then as he was moving upfield, there was a call against Arkadelphia. So they're going to move the ball back to the 35-yard line. Still 2nd down, but 2nd and 15 now. Arkadelphia lines up on 2nd and 15. Now we are nearing 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Arkadelphia leading 7-0. This is Hatley again. This time he's hitting the backfield and will get only a yard. 3rd down and long coming. Will Arkadelphia try to throw the ball in a steady rain?
Yeah, and the rain has calmed down. It's not as hard as it was about 5 seconds ago. I can see the visitors, I can see the home stands now. I couldn't see it clearly. The first play of this drive. So the rain's kind of calmed down a little bit, and this would be the time, 3rd and long. Victor Tadamy's out on the field, as is Buster Thomas. So the receivers are out on the field for this play, and there's not going to be a running back in the backfield.
Cannon Turner trying to keep his hands dry. The football is not going to be dry when he receives it. He's back to pass, and now he's going to run. The quarterback will run a draw up the middle and get some yardage. Now they'll have to punt the ball away, but they moved it from their own 5-yard line, Caleb, up near the 40. So that's going to help as they'll send Gabe Goodman out to punt the ball.
Yeah, it definitely will help. And Goodman's going to come out like you said the last time on his punt. He's going to be 7 yards back behind the center, and that's definitely going to help him be able to catch the snap and be able to get a punt away. We saw in the rain a few weeks ago the long snaps weren't working too well, but now it's the normal center in and a shorter distance for Goodman.
Here's the kick. Goodman's punt is high. It's down the sideline. It's allowed to bounce. It's inside the 20, and it goes out of bounds. That's a very effective punt. There's no way to return that. It went right down the sideline, but it stayed in bounds long enough to roll inside the 20. And Arkadelphia has flipped the field and given Ashdown a long way to go to try to tie this game up.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want to do. The special team's done a great job tonight. Gabe Goodman, 2nd time, pinning Ashdown inside their own 20. That's exactly what you want with this explosive offense that Ashdown has had at points throughout this year. So putting them back inside their own 20 makes it a lot harder for them to go down the entire field and score a touchdown.
They're going to mark it at the 16-yard line. 1st down and 10. Still in the first quarter tonight. Arkadelphia 7, Ashdown 0. 2:47 left here in the opening quarter of action. And it's going to be an outside play to the left. But Arkadelphia responded well, and the gain was only a couple. 2nd down and long coming. They tried a little misdirection that time, but did not work as Arkadelphia stayed home and made the tackle.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Ashdown is playing a receiver just about as far away from the line from the football as possible, trying to spread out this Arkadelphia defense and get Victor Tadamy away from the football, away from the play, as he's out playing cornerback, playing man coverage on the lone receiver.
Bearden to the line of scrimmage. He's under center. And they are going to run it inside. Trap inside just doesn't go anywhere. Arkadelphia responded well with its defensive line and its linebackers, just nowhere to go. We saw Wallace helping on that tackle. Also for Arkadelphia, immediately getting to the football was Elijah Wheeler.
And as you mentioned earlier, Jeff, gang tackling is going to be such a key for the Badgers on defense throughout this night. Just playing together makes it a lot easier to take these Ashdown running backs down and limit them much more yards after the first hit.
Third down and between 6 and 7 yards to go for the Panthers. And they're going to line up this time in the shotgun and look for a longer gain. Ball gets a little bit loose. They're diving for it. Arkadelphia says they have it. The officials were waiting. The officials say yes. Arkadelphia has recovered its second fumble of the night. And that was Turner that got that one. Cole Turner recovered the fumble, and Arkadelphia has great field position again.
Yeah, and that's the second time that Goodman has pinned this Ashdown offense back within its own 20-yard line, and they fumbled it, giving great field position to the Badgers. So Arkadelphia is going to take over. It looks like at their own 17, at the Ashdown 17-yard line, and they're going to have a football, and they're going to have a really good chance to get the ball in the end zone once again before the end of the first quarter.
Offense coming onto the field. And we're watching a replay here in the booth, and we see some excellent defense. Cole Turner with that fumble recovery. Here's a run to the left side. Hatley's got some room, but he loses the ball. Arkadelphia fighting for it, but I think Ashdown recovered it inside the 5-yard line. He lost it just before his knee hit the ground. Rubel dove for it, but couldn't come up with it, and Ashdown recovered, but it's way back at the 4-yard line.
Yeah, and it looked like the slippery ball might have had a little bit to do there with Arkadelphia being unable to recover the fumble. Rubel bounced right on top of the ball, but it slipped out from underneath him. And so now Ashdown's going to have the ball, but they're going to be backed up within their own 5-yard line here. So Arkadelphia is going to have a shot to, pin Ashdown deep, maybe even pick up a safety and get the ball back.
We're going to thank our online sponsors as we go through the broadcast tonight. Right now I will mention Taylor King Law. Also, Southwest Sporting Goods, Dr. Gary and Rob Rucker. And we'll mention our other online sponsors as we go through the evening. Eddie Arnold included of Jostens, and also Twin Rivers Health and Rehabilitation. Here's a running play, and there's just nowhere to go. Arkadelphia defending extremely well right in the middle of the line of scrimmage, and he may have lost a little bit of yardage. Waiting for the official spot. Now under 1 minute to play in the first quarter. Ashdown in some trouble. They prevented the Arkadelphia touchdown after they turned it over, but now the ball's back to the 3-yard line after a loss of 1. It's 2nd down and 11. Ashdown in no hurry, but they will have to snap it before the quarter ends. Down to 11 seconds. And I'm not sure what they're waiting for. They are going to have to snap it, or maybe they'll just call timeout. They're not going to line up. I guess they'll call a timeout and move down to the other end. They call timeout with 1 second on the play clock. It gets the clock down to 22 seconds left in the first quarter, and we will take a break. After 1 quarter of play tonight, we're almost a quarter. We're into a timeout with 22 seconds left. We'll be back with more Badger football in 30 seconds. And our live stream, folks, will want to hear us thank once again the sponsors that have been so great to us. I want to say thank you to Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, Turner, Rogers, Manning, and Plyler, Southern Bank Corps. Also want to say thank you to Roger Wingfield of State Farm. I want to say thank you to all of our sponsors all year long. We're going to bring you their names as we go through the broadcast tonight. They have been so great to us to help us present to you a video live stream for the first time this year of Arkadelphia Badger football. 22 seconds remain in the first quarter. Long discussion on the sideline during that timeout, and Ashdown will send its offense back out onto the field. Let's see if they try to do something a little bit different on 2nd down and between 10 and 11 yards to go. Under center is the quarterback, Bearden. He'll send a man in motion. Now he'll run a trap. Now he's going to throw the ball. That was a good fake. He throws an incompletion, almost intercepted by Tadamy. Good fake on the far side of the field. Took me a minute to realize he still had the ball after faking it to the left side. He threw it downfield, but Tadamy had the best chance of catching it, and he couldn't quite pull it in. The rain is falling. A little bit less wind right now, but the rain's just going to be coming down all night, I think, Jack.
Yeah, that, like you said, Jeff, the rain just keeps coming down. But on that play, kind of fooled us here in the booth, but the Badgers' defense was not fooled at all, having 4 or 5 guys back where Ashdown ended up throwing the football. Tadamy almost coming up with an interception on that play, but just went right through his hands, and now it's 3rd down and long.
After the incompletion, as Jack said, 3rd down and long, between 10 and 11 yards. He wants to fire it deep. He is going to throw it deep, and it's intercepted. This is Tadamy at the 30, back to the 25-20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. He's knocked out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. They threw deep on 3rd down and long. Tadamy made the interception, Jack, and then headed right back down the sideline where he got very close.
Yeah, Tadamy almost making it into the end zone there, just being pushed out of bounds. Looks to be probably inside the 10-yard line, but Badger's doing a great job there of capitalizing on that errant throw. Tadamy getting the interception, almost going in for a touchdown there.
Waiting for the official spot of the ball. I mean, he made it well inside the 5, I believe, but let's see where they're going to spot it. Well, I'm corrected. They spotted at the 4. So at the 4-yard line, it's 1st down and goal, Arkadelphia. Badgers leading 7-0. Only 5 seconds remain in the first quarter. From the 4-yard line, Arkadelphia lines up. 1st down and goal. Cannon Turner at quarterback. Hatley to his right with him in the backfield. They're going to hand it to Hatley. He's going to run to the left. Hatley is in the end zone. That's a touchdown, Arkadelphia.
Yeah, it's a touchdown just as, well, is it a touchdown?
I saw an official on the far sideline make the call. The officials are wet and not always willing to
they didn't
raise
look
their arms.
They didn't look very enthusiastic about the touchdown. I only saw one put their arms in the air. So, good run there by the Badgers, and that's set up by the defense once again. This Badger defense forcing turnovers and putting the offense in good situations to get a touchdown. That time it was Tadamy with the interception and a touchdown for Arkadelphia. So they have a soon-to-be 14-point lead to go into the second quarter.
Extra point by Goodman is perfect. It's Arkadelphia 14, Ashdown 0 as we have seen the end of the first quarter, and we will be back with more Badger football in 30 seconds. And we're right back with you on the live stream where Arkadelphia has taken advantage of 3 turnovers tonight by Ashdown, scored 2 touchdowns. The Badgers have had 1 turnover themselves, but Arkadelphia has a 14-0 lead, and they're set to kick off. Goodman, last time, Jack, put it in and through the end zone.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that here again. Despite all this rain, Goodman's leg is still as strong as it could ever be. Like we've seen so many times each year, Goodman just kicking it over the entire opposition into the end zone. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the exact same thing here.
Shuntori Montu is deep to receive the kickoff, and they're going to have to convince him to run to the other end of the field as they have changed quarters here, and he and the rest of his teammates are going to do the same. He's got to go about 100 yards, though, from goal line to goal line to receive this kickoff. Goodman sets up right in front of us now. You're going to have a good view of his kick, and it looks like the turf around the ball here is going to be plenty good enough for him to have a good plant foot and send this kickoff deep. We'll see. 14-0. Arkadelphia leading, getting ready to start the second quarter now. Rain coming down. And it's hard enough to get your attention, but not really a storm. No lightning in the area. Here's the kick. It's very high. It's very deep. It's going to come down inside the 5. He's going to run it back to the 10-yard line. He makes it to the far sideline. He's got some yardage to the 30. Knocked out of bounds finally after a big-time return for Ashdown. Good job by Montu as he was able to get down the far sideline and get yardage out near the 40. In fact, they may give him past the 40-yard line. Did a good job on that return. Hard to kick it into the end zone on a high kick because of the weather right now, Caleb, and he was able to return that from the 4 all the way out to the 40.
Yeah, it was a really good return there from Ashdown. You have to give credit to the Badgers, though. You see who made the tackle in that play.
Yes, sir.
It was Goodman. Goodman made the tackle. He pushed him out of bounds. He stood in the way and kind of ran over the return man. Kind of ran over Goodman and fell out of bounds. So it was a good job by Gabe Goodman, the kicker, to make sure that didn't turn into a touchdown.
Here's a running play right up the middle for Ashdown on 1st down, but Arkadelphia is there, and a flag goes down at the end of the play. Not sure what call this is, Caleb, after a gain of 2.
Yeah, and it kind of came in right as the a pile of Badgers and Panthers fell together to result in the end of the play and a tackle. So it's going to be a penalty against Ashdown, though, and that's going to definitely hurt them as they're trying to run this run-heavy offense and march down the field methodically. These 10-yard holding penalties are definitely going to work against the Panthers.
Ashdown backed up to its own 31-yard line. So that was a blocking call against Ashdown. They marked it off from the spot. So from the 31, it is first down again. They're going to need 19. First and 19. Ashdown lines up for its option offense. They've also lined up in the shotgun tonight. They're going to pitch it. Tossed back to the near sideline. They're going to tackle him with gang tackling. That's just good work. Now the ball comes loose, but it was whistled dead before it came loose. Short gain, though, up to the 35. It is second down and long.
Yeah, and these Ashdown running backs are just shaking their heads because every time they run the football, they're getting tackled by 5 or 6 Badgers, and they all 5 or 6 of them are ripping at that football, trying to knock it out, and they've been successful at least 2 times already tonight with those fumbles. So these Ashdown running backs have to be frustrated with themselves because, I mean, there's not really much they can do. When you have 5 or 6 players on the defense ripping at the football, it's really hard to keep a hold of it.
It's now officially raining here in the press box. Coming right through the ceiling, but so far not on the equipment, so we're in good shape. Second down and 14. They're going to pitch it, going to be a double reverse, and here he comes back to the near sideline, and he'll break 2 tackles. Good effort. Now he breaks another tackle, and he's still running. This is a very good run. He's up to the 50-yard line, tripped up there by Tatamy, and a flag goes down at the end of the play. Not sure what the call will be, but a flag went down at the very end of the play. That was a super effort by Nutt.
Yeah, it was a very good run by Nutt there, and the Badgers thought they had him down for maybe a 3 or 4 yard gain, and he just kept breaking tackles and finally reversed field to the far sideline where he was able to pick up some yardage. But at the end of the play, I saw a Badger go flying. And, it was after Nutt had been tackled, so a Badger defender went flying through the air. It looked like he got blocked in the back. So that is just a really bad mistake from Ashdown on that play. They picked up a first down, but then it's brought back 10 yards. After the play is over, to hit a defender like that and send it back 10 yards, you can't be making those mistakes if you want to come back from a 14-point deficit in a football game.
Well, you're right. He would have had a first down. Now, they didn't call it a dead ball foul because otherwise it would be first down. So instead, they called it as if the play were still going on, and that means that at least the box is telling us it's still second down and 12 now. So all of that for naught. Back to pass. Bearden fires the ball, and that's caught. Nice catch again by Nutt, but he'll gain only up to the 46-yard line. It's third down and 4.
Yeah, good throw there from the quarterback of Ashdown, able to find his open receiver there, and not being able to pick up a first down on that play. Badgers defense in pursuit of the quarterback there, but he was able to get the ball away pretty quickly, able to connect with his target, picking up a couple yards there on that second down play.
Rain is coming down a bit harder now, and Ashdown will line up. Third down, 4 yards to go. Ashdown at its own 46-yard line. Arkadelphia leading 14-0, and flags go down before the snap. My goodness, Ashdown just continues to shoot itself in the foot.
Yeah, and that's really what you can say about this Ashdown offense and defense both. I mean, this offense keeps getting false start penalties, holding penalties. These are the kind of things you can avoid, and it just keeps happening. So, really, not the kind of things you can afford to give up whenever you're running this option power wing T offense. It's really difficult to overcome these penalties.
Third down and 4 just became third down and 9 for the Panthers. Shotgun formation this time. They'll send a man in motion. He's going to roll out and throw the ball. He fires it across the middle. That's a beautiful catch and a first down. Again, Nutt with a big play. He's been the star player for the Panthers so far.
Yeah, that time Kai Harrison and KJ Terry on the coverage there. Nutt able to get away from both of them. Pass was a little bit short, but Nutt was able to adjust his positioning, able to catch that ball and be able to get just enough for an Ashdown first down on that play.
That was a big play for the Panthers to keep this drive alive and move into Arkadelphia territory at the 48-yard line, 8:59 left. We are in the second quarter tonight. Arkadelphia 14, Ashdown 0 to the line of scrimmage. Back in their option formation is Bearden. He's under center. He's got Nutt in motion. He's going to pitch to him, and the ball got loose, and Nutt falls on it. He pitched it and hit the blocking back, and then Nutt had to fall on it for a loss of about 6.
And that was not a not the way that play is supposed to go for Ashdown. Definitely, they keep making these mistakes over and over again. We've said it 5 or 6 times on this drive. I've got down Ashdown has technically run 4 plays on this drive, but they probably snapped the ball 10 times with how many penalties they've had. So, I mean, this has not been a very efficient drive from the Panthers.
Chris Babb is breaking out an umbrella. We may need it here in the press box as the rain in the box is coming a little more steadily through the roof now. On 2nd and long, back to pass, Bearden across the middle. Oh, my goodness, this might be a touchdown to the 30, to the 20, to the 10. That is a touchdown, a beautiful play on a pass. Bearden, deep pass, and he gets the touchdown. He threw it to his deep receiver that time, and I believe it was Tate Hooper who makes the touchdown for Ashdown. That pulls them back to within 1 score of Arkadelphia. The Badgers have been playing very good defense, but they let somebody get behind him. That time, Bearden made a good pass.
Yeah, that was a very good touchdown there from Ashdown, and and the Badgers just failed to cover that receiver. So he burst to the middle of the field, and on the play action, threw a quick pass and was able to get in the end zone. So that was some really good speed and really good touchdown.
Landon Wright's kick is hooked and no good. He pulled it off to the left, and so it is. Arkadelphia 14, Ashdown 6. 7:55 left in the second quarter, and we'll be back with more Badger football on KDEL FM 100.9 in Arkadelphia in 30 seconds. And on the live stream, we are right back with you now to tell you that once again the rain is pouring down. Hard rain once again. Arkadelphia will receive a kickoff and return it, and then set up offensively, this time with an 8-point lead instead of a 14-point lead, thanks to a long touchdown pass by Ashdown. Beautifully thrown by Bearden. I'll tell you what, Caleb, he doesn't have a classic kind of delivery for a quarterback. He kind of slings it a bit, but that was an accurate pass, and he got the touchdown.
Yeah, it was. He did a really nice job to get that ball over the middle, and he just rose up and fired it. I mean, it was a quick fire pass, and didn't really have much time to react for the Badgers. And with how much speed this Ashdown team has, when they run those quick plays and they come off, it's gonna be really hard to catch up with them and make the tackle on the chase down. So it was a really nice job, really good execution from Ashdown, and they deserve a touchdown right there.
You can probably hear the rain above us here in this press box. Oh, he just almost missed the ball. That onside kick is not going to go more than 3 yards because I don't think it was planned. If it was planned, it wasn't executed. If it wasn't planned, he just almost missed the ball on the kickoff. It slipped off the side of his foot, and Arkadelphia has great field position at the 43-yard line of Ashdown. That was literally a 3-yard kickoff.
Yeah, that was probably the worst kickoff I have ever seen. He just missed the football. It's like he went to kick it, and the air from his foot passing the football knocked it off the tee and made it roll. So, I mean, I'm not even sure if he touched the ball there. The ball fell off the tee and rolled 3 yards.
There's a foul tip on the play, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt because, as you can tell if you're watching the live stream, the rain is falling harder right now than it has for the entire game. Right back over the stadium is this front right now, and here's a running play. Turner trying to get to the secondary, but he's hit by a linebacker and driven down. No gain on the play. Arkadelphia has 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, this rain makes it a lot more harder for the Badgers to want to throw the football. As we see, they like to do it on 1st down a lot, as we've seen throughout the season. But that time, Cannon Turner carried the ball on the play after the fake design Hatley, which didn't really fool Ashdown's defenders, as Cannon Turner wasn't able to pick up a single yard on that play.
Braden Buster Thomas split wide to the right side, the near side, nearest Badger in your camera, but they're going to run the ball. Here is Hatley looking for a hole and not finding one. It's going to be 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, going in the I formation there. Cannon Turner under center, just going straight power football here, trying to run the ball and nothing going there for the Badgers. No kind of hole for Hatley to run through, and he's forced to come out of the game. And we've seen some interesting changes here for the Badgers offense. Sammy Hawthorne and KJ Terry, usually defensive players, now checking in for the offense on 3rd and long.
Arkadelphia facing 3rd down and 10 at the 43-yard line of Ashdown. Arkadelphia 14, Ashdown 6. We're in the second quarter, 6:39 left before halftime. Hawthorne in motion, back to pass is Turner. He'll throw short. He throws a completion to Hatley, who is hit immediately and driven down with only a 2-yard gain. And Arkadelphia has 4th down and long. Now, they could punt them deep here with Goodman, or they could go for it at the 41-yard line of Ashdown. We'll see what they will decide to do, but it is 4th down and 8. 4th down and 8, and they're going to go for it, it would appear. Checking in again is Thomas, and Whitten checks in also. Also in the game is Rubel. Cannon Turner, quarterback, and Hatley is in at running back. They get the play from the sideline. Arkadelphia is going to try to keep the possession and go for it on 4th down and 8. Off the 41-yard line of Ashdown. Badgers, shotgun formation. In motion comes Hatley. They'll run the option. They'll fire it deep. There's an open receiver, but he missed him. Open was Whitten at the 20-yard line, just overthrown and incomplete. And the defense comes back out on the field.
Man, that was a perfect execution from Arkadelphia, sending Hatley on the jet sweep. Arkadelphia likes to run the read option on that play. Fake the read option and pulls up. Whitten was wide open in the middle of the field, and Hatley just overthrew him. So that was unfortunate, but it was kind of a low risk, high reward kind of play there for Arkadelphia. If it had pulled off, it would have been a touchdown, but not pulling off. Ashdown still does not have great field position to start here on their own 41-yard line.
Bearden at quarterback will line up once again in the T formation. Halfbacks behind the tackles. In motion goes Nutt. They're going to run to the right side now, and there is a gain on 1st down. And good effort by the running back. He's going to get 7, 8 yards. Finally, the whistle blows. Let's make it more like a 7-yard pickup. Ashdown has had a lot of penalties tonight, but they're right back in it after that long touchdown pass, only down by 8 with 5:23 left before halftime. Arkadelphia 14, Ashdown 6.
Yeah, when the Badgers went up by 2 scores there early in the ball game, kind of thought that it was going to be another one of those quick games. Arkadelphia continues to score, but Ashdown able to fight back on the defensive end, and as a result, were able to get a touchdown from that as well. So Ashdown's still in this ball game, only down by 8 with halftime approaching.
After a gain of 6, we'll say. 2nd down, 4 yards to go for Ashdown. Once again in their running formation, they're going to send a man in motion now. A trap play back to the right side, and there's big yardage down the sideline. This might go. He's to the 30. He's to the 20. Breaks the tackle, and he's going to score. Ashdown with another big play, this time on a misdirection run, and a 2-point conversion could tie the game.
Yeah, that was another nice execution there from Ashdown on the misdirection. And able to get it around the end and seal the edge of the Badger defense and get down the sideline for the score. So that was a really nice run, really nice bit of speed on the sideline, and he ended up breaking a tackle, was able to get in the end zone. So now Ashdown's down by 2. See if they decide to go for 2 here and tie the football game, or if they try to kick another extra point.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. They're going to try to get a 2-point conversion and tie the game. Arkadelphia leading by 2, 4:42 left in the second quarter. Bearden at quarterback, fumbles the snap. Now he picks it up. He's hit, and he's not going to make it. So Arkadelphia has stopped the 2-point conversion and will retain the lead. But it's Arkadelphia 14, Ashdown 12 with 4:42 left before halftime. We'll be back with more Badger football in 30 seconds. And with the live stream, we are right back with you where, Jack, this game has really tightened up. Arkadelphia had a 14-0 lead. Ashdown was piling penalty upon penalty, but all of a sudden, 2 big Ashdown offensive plays, a pass and a run. They're right back in it. But for 2 failed extra points, a 1-point extra point, a 2-point conversion that didn't work out, Arkadelphia still has the lead.
Yeah, there was a point in the game where it looked like Ashdown was basically just going to hand Arkadelphia the win as they kept collapsing on their own offensive drives after penalty we saw. But Ashdown's come back. They've scored 2 touchdowns now, only down by 2 points. First by the failed PAT, that time the failed 2-point conversion. So definitely got ourselves a ball game now. Just a couple minutes left. One more shot, really, it looks like, for the Badgers to get points on the board before halftime.
Here's Sanders' kick, and the ball once again is lined up on its side, and he'll kick it downfield where it's going to roll to the 15, picked up there by Tadamy. Tadamy looking for space. He's got some. To the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, to the 50-yard line. He beats the tackle to the 40, still going to the 30. Now he's got to meet a couple of more tacklers, and he'll be knocked out of bounds, but a great run back of the kickoff by Tadamy all the way inside the 15-yard line.
That was an amazing kick return there from Victor Tadamy, and if you're watching the live stream, you would be extremely impressed by his effort. He was as he picked up the football, there was a Ashdown defender right in front of him. He juked that defender, made him miss a tackle, and then he ran through his blockers, did a nice job there from the blockers to create space for Tatamy, and then he made 3 or 4 defenders miss along the sideline. So it was a really nice return there and showed off a lot of agility and a lot of vision to make those defenders miss. And Arkadelphia's got really good field position here. They're at the 15-yard line.
The Badgers have quite an opportunity. And on the last possession, Arkadelphia did not get a first down. Went for it on 4th down, didn't make it. They're going to need to drive here from the 14-yard line in. They're going to mark it at the 14, first down and 10, Arkadelphia, after that long kickoff return. And the Badgers line up. Cannon Turner, as always, at quarterback. Hatley is his running back. Rubel and another blocking back in the game for the Badgers. They are going to block ahead of Hatley, who will bounce it to the outside, but he's hit in the backfield and will lose yardage to the 15.
Yeah, that's the kind of power run football you see a lot the Ouachita running. There's 2 fullbacks in the backfield, the running back there, and just trying to go for the power run. Now they've checked in Kyron Harrison. Hatley's checked out of the game. Hasn't been able to get much going in the power run game, and now Harrison's checked in, so we might see some more power running here with Kyron Harrison in the ball game.
He has not had many runs this year, but he does have a rushing touchdown. Here is a run to the right side, back to the inside. Good move by Harrison. He's got some yardage up to the 5. Now they're going to blow the whistle as everybody on the field gets in a big pile, pushing one way and then the other. Harrison, though, did a nice job in traffic jack and got progress. Now, once again, we're low, and I called the wrong yard line. It wasn't the 5 that he made it to. It was the 10. So it is, well, they're going to even mark it at the 11, so not much there. They did start at the 14, so Arkadelphia's made a little bit of progress, but it's 3rd down and 6 yards to go. 3rd and 6 for the Badgers.
Yeah, I thought there was a little bit more forward progress on that play, but apparently the officials blew it dead before it got to that point. So now Badgers have a 3rd and 6 at inside the red zone at the 11-yard line. So look to the left side here, wide open receiver.
They'll throw it deep to the corner, fighting for the football. Arkadelphia will not be able to come up with it. They were late in covering Javante Brown, but a defender did get there, and Brown couldn't come up with the ball. So Arkadelphia threw the incompletion on 3rd down and long, and they'll be forced to try a field goal here in the pouring rain.
Yeah, Arkadelphia trying to make the read there really quickly. They saw there was no one covering Brown, and Turner saw it the last second, snapped the football, tried to throw it to him real quickly, but Ashdown was able to make the coverage, and Turner's throw wasn't exactly on target. A bit wobbly through the air, wasn't a tight spiral, so the ball's going to fall complete, but Goodman's completely capable of making this 20-plus yard field goal.
Here's the kick, and it's a beautiful kick. Despite the rain, a good snap, a good hold, and the kick is right on target. So Gabe Goodman has stretched out Arkadelphia's lead to 17-12. 2:54 left before halftime, and we'll take a break. Arkadelphia Badger football on KDEL FM 100.9, and Arkadelphia will continue in 30 seconds. And with the live stream, we are right back with you to tell you that after that long kickoff return, Caleb, Arkadelphia fans hoping for a touchdown, they had to settle for a field goal attempt. But when you do that with Gabe Goodman, you get an awfully good chance of picking up 3 points, and the Badgers did that.
Yeah, it was a good field goal, a perfect field goal, and 3 points. So that's definitely a plus, and that means that this is going to take a touchdown for Ashdown to take the lead over the Badgers now. Couldn't do it with the field goal. So, makes the game a bit more interesting, and it's 3 points you'd like to have, but touchdown would have been a lot more attractive. And so it would have been interesting to see what the Badgers would have run there on that 3rd and 6 situation. They tried to check really quick and catch Ashdown off guard as they saw Ashdown was out of position. It just didn't work out for them. So, that quick check, the quick audible, ended up not working out for the Badgers and had to go for that field goal. So Arkadelphia now, his defense is going to have to come out here and make some stops like they did early on in the game. They created, 3 turnovers already against this Ashdown offense, and they're going to have to do some more fierce defending here because the last 2 drives, Ashdown's been able to break big plays for touchdowns.
A long pass for a touchdown and then a misdirection run for a long touchdown. And Ashdown has not made an extra point, a 1 or 2 point conversion. Arkadelphia leads at 17-12. Here is a kickoff that's going to be dropped at the 6, now picked up at the 7, and here's the return. And Arkadelphia covers it well, but some good running in traffic. He's still on his feet at the 20 to the 23, 24-yard line and out of bounds. That's a good return, although it's still a long way to go for Ashdown. The Arkadelphia defense, though, Jack, going to have to bounce back now and really keep track once again of which direction the ball is going to go in this misdirection offense of Ashdown. The Panthers have had some success in fooling Arkadelphia and getting a receiver all by himself open deep for one touchdown, and then a misdirection run for a touchdown on the last possession.
Yeah, and there's really only been a handful of plays as to where Ashdown has been able to break a lot of yards on the play, but for the most part in this first half, the Badgers defense has done a great job of stopping Ashdown, and it's just kind of a matter of putting 3 or 4 good defensive plays together and forcing a punt from this Ashdown team.
Ashdown has punted once, otherwise it's been either a turnover or a touchdown. Arkadelphia leading by 5 and now back on defense. Ashdown lines up in their T formation, and they are going to run the ball. To the right side it goes. Arkadelphia looking for a tackle and not getting one. He's got a first down the far sideline. Badgers trying to force a fumble. He went out of bounds just before he got to the sideline, so they're going to roll the clock, but now they'll stop it for a first down, and they're going to move the chains. Pick up out to the 40-yard line. It's first down and 10 for the Panthers, and Ashdown has a little bounce in their step now on offense as they've been able to put together a good second quarter against Arkadelphia.
Yeah, Ashdown's beginning to be able to move the football here against the Badgers. Cannon Turner's come on the field now. He's playing some free safety, trying to fill some of the gaps in this defense. But Ashdown's still out there, moving the football against these Badgers.
Ashdown lines up. Once again, halfbacks behind the tackles, one back behind the quarterback. Here is a trap up the middle. It's going to be a short gain this time as Arkadelphia will gain tackle. Gain of maybe 1 or 2 with forward progress, but it's second down and long.
Yeah, that time the Badgers were able to snuff that one out real quick. Ashdown trying to run to the right side, fooling Arkadelphia, but not doing much of that there on that play. Badgers able to get a good bit of gang tackling going on once again and forcing a good tackle from this Badgers defense, only allowing 2 yards on that play.
Arkadelphia trying to protect its 5-point lead with 1:46 left, clock running. We are in the second quarter tonight. Arkadelphia 17, Ashdown 12. Arkadelphia has all 3 of its timeouts left. Ashdown has 2 of its timeouts left. From the 42-yard line on its own side of the field, Ashdown wants to pass. He will almost throw it. Now he is going to throw it to the sideline and incomplete. He tried to pump fake, I think, Jack, and almost dropped the ball. Then he did throw a pass to the sideline incomplete. So it's third down and long.
Yeah, a lot of pursuit there from this Badgers defensive line, forcing the quarterback out wide and just throwing the ball just to where no one was exactly. Pump faking, like you said, Jeff, almost dropping the ball. But that time just trying to throw it away and go to the next play. Is it now third down and long?
Yeah, and Ashdown only really had one receiver running around that play. It was Nutt running a deep route, but he slipped making a cut. So he fell down. He was in the mud rolling around there. So there was absolutely no one downfield. He had no choice but to throw it out of bounds.
Nutt is a dangerous player, but not so much when he's rolling around the mud. Third down, 8 yards to go, and they want to run the ball. Here is a run to the 44-yard line, to the 45, and they're going to drive him down. Arkadelphia might just call timeout here as we're at 1:17 left, and it's fourth down, a punting situation for Ashdown. They'll spot the ball at the 44-yard line, 4th and 6. Now they'll mark it at the 45, but it's still fourth down and 5. Arkadelphia has called timeout. Good move, Caleb, as Arkadelphia would like to perhaps go after the punt or a punt return. Very much like to try to score one more time here before halftime.
Yeah, and Arkadelphia needs to get the ball back after this play. If they try to go for it on fourth down, Arkadelphia needs to make the stop. And if they do decide to punt for it, as would be the likely position here, 4th and 5 on your own 45-yard line, Arkadelphia is going to get the ball back. And this offense needs to start firing once again. All 3 of their scores have come when the defense has given them the football inside the 20-yard line, the defense or special teams. So Arkadelphia's offense is yet to put together a long drive for a touchdown. And, this quick fire offense, and it's really interesting. Arkadelphia's offense seems to run really efficiently with under 2 minutes left to play in halves or at the end of the football game. They tend to be able to run the ball and get down the field pretty quickly with the short passing game, and so let's see if they can continue that trend today against Ashdown.
Ashdown comes out looking to punt the ball. We're going to see the quarterback line up in punt formation, but since he is the quarterback, you have to be careful about the potential of a fake here late in the second quarter. Arkadelphia 17, Ashdown 12. Bearden is the quarterback, and he is lined up to punt the ball.
They got 9 guys. Hey, there's another guy up top.
And Arkadelphia is lining up looking for the fake. being prepared for it. Ashdown a little trouble deciding who's going to play right guard on the punt formation. Now they've got it. Here's the snap, and he will punt the ball away. This kick is going to sail out toward Tatamy, who will return it from the 17. He's up to the 20-yard line, middle of the field to the 25-30. Nice break. He's to the 35-40. He's to the 50-yard line, still running to the 40, and knocked out of bounds with a big-time run down the far sideline, and Arkadelphia is set up to make another run at a score. 58 seconds left in the second quarter.
Yeah, and that's a really, really good punt return there from Tatamy, and he does a really good job at following his blockers on returns. He did it on the kick return earlier, and he did it once again there on the punt return. And once it gets into space, he's able to keep going and use his speed to get a good field position for the offense. So Arkadelphia now on the 33-yard line, and they only need to pick up a few yards to get into field goal territory for Goodman. And but the Badgers would really want a touchdown here heading into halftime.
Can be a little hard to see with the rain and the low angle. They're going to spot it at the 39-yard line. From there, first down and 10. Running to his right is Turner. He'll throw a pass, and that is incomplete, in and out of the hands of Braden Thomas at the 31-yard line.
And that was a good route there by Thomas there, going to the right side. Cannon Turner putting it right on his hands, just going right through the hands of the receiver on that play. A little unfortunate for the Badgers. Really close to the first down marker as well on that play. So now 2nd and 10 with still just under a minute left in this game.
Wet hands, a wet football, and he just couldn't pull it in. So it is 2nd down, 10 yards to go. Arkadelphia at the 39-yard line of Ashdown, 52 seconds left in the second half. Arkadelphia leading by 5 and trying to stretch that lead out a little bit more here before halftime. Hatley is the running back. Cannon Turner at quarterback, and a flag goes down. That's going to be a false start against Arkadelphia, and that'll push it back to the 44-yard line. Arkadelphia has 2 touchdowns in the game. Both the results of turnovers by Ashdown. The Badgers have not had a long, sustained drive in the game so far tonight. Ashdown really hasn't either. They've just scored on 2 big plays. Arkadelphia also got a field goal after a long kickoff return.
And that was a really unfortunate false start because it looked like Ashdown was not in position to guard Arkadelphia's receivers. They had leaving some receivers open.
On 2nd and 15, Arkadelphia will run it. This is Turner. He'll cut it up the field. He's up to the 39-yard line. He got back what he lost on the penalty and another yard, but it's going to be 3rd down and 9 yards to go for the Badgers. 37 seconds left. Clock running. Arkadelphia still has 2 timeouts. From the 39-yard line, Arkadelphia looks to the sideline to get the play. Down to 24 seconds left. Clock ticking on Arkadelphia, but the Badgers still have time. From the 39-yard line, Turner wants to pass. A lot of pressure. He throws it deep, looking for Tatamy, and a flag goes down. Now, it's intercepted. Here's an interception return, but a flag down probably is going to go against Ashdown as Tatamy hit the ground at the 15-yard line.
And that was absolutely a pass interference call against Ashdown there. But the unfortunate part is the clock kept running, and Ashdown's defensive back made the poor decision to dive on the field. He thought he was going to give his offense a chance to run one more play, but instead he's going to give Arkadelphia's offense a chance to run a play.
There are 2 flags down, one on the far sideline as well as the one that we think is pass interference, and they are going to mark off a major penalty against Ashdown. Arkadelphia will have a first down. They'll mark it off to the 24-yard line, and it is 1st down and 10, Arkadelphia.
And that penalty put Arkadelphia in field goal range now. Now they have a chance. They have 7 seconds left on the clock, so they have a chance. They're going to likely take one shot at the end zone, and then with 2 seconds left, if they don't get it, put Gabe Goodman out in the field to kick a field goal.
Arkadelphia looks to the sideline to get the play. 7 seconds left, as Caleb said, so I think that's an accurate call. They got 1 shot at the end zone, and then you send Goodman out probably, even though it would be a longer field goal. He's fully capable of hitting it. Back to pass is Turner. He'll look to the end zone. He fires to the right corner, looking for Tatamy, but it's overthrown and incomplete. Still 3 seconds left, and so Goodman's going to come out and try another field goal. This is a key kick because, Caleb, it would put Arkadelphia up by 8.
Yeah, this is a really key kick here for Goodman, and it's one he can make. But this is, probably one of the more difficult kicks he's done this season. 40-yard kick from the right hash mark. He's a left-footed kicker, so he's going to have to push this one into the field goal in between the goalpost here, perfectly 40 yards.
Yeah, he puts the tee down for a 41-yard field goal. Now he places the tee. Here's the snap. Here's the kick. It is high. It is straight, and it is good. He made a 41-yard field goal in the pouring rain, and Arkadelphia has grabbed a 20-12 lead. Halftime has arrived here in Ashdown. Arkadelphia 20, Ashdown 12 on the 41-yard field goal from Gabe Goodman. We'll be back with the halftime show when Arkadelphia Badger football continues in 60 seconds. And here on the live stream, we're right back with you. Once again, no halftime show by Arkadelphia High School Band because of the pouring rain here in Ashdown. But we do have halftime discussion coming your way as Chris Babb is going to join us here momentarily, and we'll talk about this football game, which is a barn burner at this point. Ashdown with 2 long touchdowns. Arkadelphia scores off of turnovers, scores off of kick returns, and Gabe Goodman is really the difference right now. He scored 2 field goals here in the second quarter. The last one on the last play of the second quarter, a 41-yard field goal. The left-footed kicker kicking from the right hash mark, and Arkadelphia has a 20-12 lead here at halftime. Caleb, it was quite a first half.
Yeah, it was. It was back and forth, and it looked at the beginning, and it really looked at the end of the first quarter like it was going to be an Arkadelphia. Arkadelphia's going to be able to run away with this game. They were up 14-0 at the end of the first quarter, and the second quarter came out, and Ashdown at the beginning was having some trouble with the Arkadelphia. They're having trouble with penalties really to start this game, and they went on one drive where they had 4 or 5 penalties, but then they broke out a 54-yard touchdown pass and got back in the game. The next drive out, after forcing a turnover on downs against the Badgers, they got another long 50-plus yard touchdown run, and they were right back in the game and made it a ball game once again with 2 big plays. So this Ashdown offense came out in the second quarter, started firing again, overcame their penalties, and now this is a close football game. Badgers only ahead by 1 score.
I tell you what, if Arkadelphia can pull through, Caleb and Jack, and win this game, I won't complain at all about the fact that it's raining on us here in the press box. The equipment's a little bit wet, but not too bad. Chris Babb has protected it well, and I think we're going to be able to be okay. Now, you're not seeing very much on the live stream right now, just simply because there's nothing going on the field during halftime in this rainy evening. But we're glad to bring you this game and glad that we're able to get the stream to you from Ashdown, Arkansas. We weren't sure about that at the beginning of the season, but here we are. We've played a half, and you've seen a good football game. It's going to be a very entertaining second half. Yeah,
it will be if it's anything like the first. But as the rain continues, it could turn into an ugly second half. You saw against Nashville a few weeks ago, the second half of the game, the rain had just come down and poured for the whole first half throughout halftime, and then in the third quarter the rain picked up, and it was some of the hardest game I've ever seen during a football game, and the second half was not very pretty in that Nashville game, and it really was a big factor in who ended up winning that game. If I remember correctly, Arkadelphia was on top at halftime, and Nashville ended up winning thanks to 2 bad snaps turned into touchdowns against the Badgers. So hopefully we will not see a repeat of that in the second half, and you'll be able to see both teams come out in the field, be able to run their offense, be able to play a clean game of football without the conditions getting into the outcome too much.
It is raining now. It's been raining throughout the game. We think it's going to rain throughout the second half. And these conditions, Jack, make it even more amazing that Gabe Goodman has come through in such a major way. 2 for 2 on field goals, including a 41-yard field goal. He's made both of his extra points. He's kicked off well and punted well tonight. He's been a major factor.
Yeah, for 4A Arkansas high school football, it's amazing for anyone to kick a 41-yard field goal, but to do it in the rain and in these conditions on this field, it's absolutely amazing. And then talking about his punts and his kickoffs, just stuff you don't see a lot in 4A football. In Arkansas, Gabe Goodman is definitely a weapon for this Badgers team and has grown into one in these past 2 years, and is definitely someone that has been continue to play a huge factor in these games, and he did so there, and he's done so far tonight.
We're going to take a 2-minute break for radio. Once again, you're in tune to KDEL FM 100.9 in Arkadelphia, ready to bring you Badger football every single year. Glad to bring it to you again this year. We'll take a 2-minute break for radio. And with the live stream, we are right back with you right now. Just simply to tell you once again, the score at halftime, Arkadelphia 20 and Ashdown 12. I tell you what, I'll give a compliment to Ashdown for a team that runs two very different offenses, Caleb. They have been able to make misdirection work to their favor with a couple of long touchdowns tonight.
Yeah, and like you said, Ashdown's been switching back and forth between the wing tee and the spread, and those are about as far apart from each other as you can get in terms of what would you expect from a football team to be running. So Ashdown's done it well, and their passing game has been what you'd expect from Ashdown usually. Last year you saw a lot of passes coming from Ashdown, pass-heavy attack, and this year, those passes that we've seen from them have been executed well. And so Arkadelphia is going to have to continue to watch out for that in the second half. And a lot of times when you're against this a run-heavy team, when we've seen a few run-heavy teams this year, we saw Wynn run the option. We saw Haskell Harmony Grove run the dead tee. And so this team out there running the wing tee, you'd expect them not to be able to pass the ball very well like those other teams have done. But with this Ashdown team, you have to be watching the pass as well as the run, and that makes their offense so unpredictable and so lethal.
It's halftime here in Ashdown. Arkadelphia 20, Ashdown 12. We are going to move to statistics and give Jim Rothwell a chance to talk to us about statistics here momentarily. Just before we do that, Jack, let's talk for a moment about the fact that the Arkadelphia Badgers are on a roll here. Well, we got a lot of microphone noise here coming at us. We're about to fix that. Now we're back in okay, and Jim's going to bring us stats here in just a minute. But, Jack, first of all, I tell you what, Arkadelphia has won 2 in a row. If they can hold out here in the second half against an Ashdown team with a lot of talent and a lot of misdirection tonight, that's going to be 3 wins in a row. It sets up a huge game against Bauxite and then against arch rival Malvern. Arkadelphia still has an opportunity to be a high seed, probably a number 3 seed from the conference. What a dangerous 3 seed they would be if it worked out that way.
Yeah, it seemed like once the Badgers lost their first 5 games of the season, seemed like the town kind of went in panic mode, but those first 5 games being the 5 toughest opponents of the season, won 2 in a row so far. Badgers, they win tonight, they win 3 in a row, and then these next 2 weeks very important. Like you said, Jeff, a high possibility that the Badgers could still have a very good seed in the state tournament. So definitely Badgers here going to try and look to close out tonight. I'm going to take care of business in the next 2 weeks, which will put them in good position for the playoffs come November.
All right, Jim Rothwell, let's talk about statistics. The most important stat is Arkadelphia 20, Ashdown 12, but you've been keeping track of a lot more than that, including turnovers leading to some Arkadelphia points and including a couple of big plays by Ashdown's offense to get them on the board for 2 touchdowns.
It has. It's been a contrast. Ashdown big plays, Arkadelphia taking advantage of the turnovers and scoring on short runs and getting their... Okay. So offensively, Arkadelphia doesn't have a lot of yardage. Turner's got 16 yards. Hatley's got 49 yards, 4 carries for Turner, 6 for Hatley. Passing, Turner's 1 out of 6 for 3 yards, so not a lot of yardage, but taking advantage of those turnovers, particularly inside the 20, has been to Arkadelphia's advantage. Again, Ashdown's taken advantage of some big plays. Arkadelphia came out and basically shut them down and forced them to switch out of the running game into a little bit more of a spread, brought in a different quarterback, and generally with the new quarterback in there, they have balanced the running and passing game tonight. Big plays, the return on the kickoff, the turnovers, those have played a part in the first half, and we'll see how that plays out here in the second half. Again, with weather like this, those are the things that make a difference. Taking advantage of turnovers, limiting turnovers yourself. Ashdown hurt themselves with a lot of penalties in the first half. Arkadelphia limited themselves there. Again, doing things well. Arkadelphia hasn't been able to finish on some key third downs that they needed to. But they really haven't had to go very far to score most of the time. They have been able to move the ball. We've gotten 2 field goals from Gabe Goodman. It would be nice to have touchdowns on those particular plays, but you'll take what you can get on a night like this.
Arkadelphia has benefited from some great play tonight from Victor Tatamy.
He has. Victor makes those big plays, the interception, the return, and then he almost had a punt return too as well, but he just missed a little bit breaking. a couple of deep passes they've tried to throw to him. He's been well covered, double teamed on both of those. What you need to do is then set that up, let him be double teamed, and then go the opposite direction or over the middle of the field, because they're double teaming him when he's out there, because Arkadelphia goes to him so much. So that may set up something to someone else in the second half that we'll look for.
Jim, so much of the game tonight is just, can you keep your concentration? Can you hold on to a wet football? Can you do the things you have to do in miserable conditions? It's cold, it's wet.
That's true, and this is where it's tough, and you just have to again, do what you know to do. Play your position. Don't try to do things you can't do, whether it's offense or defense. Don't chase. If you're on the ends, make sure you contain, because you don't want them getting outside. That's where the big run happened, when they got outside, and a little breakdown on the contain there. Again, making sure that you do the things offensively that you need to do. Get that extra yardage when you start to get hit. Hold the ball with two hands. Wrap it up. Make sure you don't turn it over there. And again, on tonight like that, those are keys.
When we come back, we're going to have a scoreboard update coming from Caleb Bird. We'll be back with more of the halftime show in 2 minutes. And we're right back with you on the live stream. Once again, the score at halftime, Arkadelphia 20 and Ashdown 12. You can tell from the live stream there is not a halftime show from either band tonight, and there is, in fact, nothing going on in the field right now except puddles. The rain is continuing to fall. We've gotten an eyewitness report from, well, everybody at the stadium that everybody is wet, including us in the press box, because it's raining here in the press box. But it is still a drier night for us than most of the folks here at the field, including the players, including the referees. This is the night that you don't dream about when you volunteer to be an official for a football game. These guys are working hard. They've had to call a lot of penalties tonight, especially against Ashdown, and they're soaking wet.
Yeah, those officials are they look pretty miserable out there. I saw earlier Arkadelphia scored a touchdown, and I think only one of the officials raised his hands in the air for a touchdown, and the rest of them kind of stood around. So they're miserable. The fans are. They're witnessing a good football game, but at the same time, it would be a lot more fun if they were dry and decently warm out there watching the game. I do have a question for you, Jeff. You said earlier you wouldn't complain about the water in the press box if the Badgers won, but what will you do if the Badgers lose? Will you?
Well, such a thought would never enter my mind, Caleb, that it might turn out that way. I tell you what, the only bad scenario here, because I feel like we should get a little bit wet since everybody else at the stadium is wet. We just want to keep the equipment dry, and Chris is working double time to make sure that happens. The rain is not hitting all of the press box, just dripping on us right through the ceiling, because this press box has been here for a few years, I think, Caleb. Give us a scoreboard update.
Scores from around the conference. One game we don't have any scores from, and that's Malvern versus Fountain Lake. We haven't really been very good at getting scores from Malvern so far this year, but there are some close games all around the conference tonight. Every game in the conference is close at halftime tonight, and a lot of that can be down to the rain that we're experiencing around the state right now. The band of rain just passing straight over the state of Arkansas, and it's been here. It's like it's a Friday night tradition now in the month of October for us to have a rainy Friday night. Game of the week in the conference is Bauxite and Robinson. That's at the pit in Bauxite. Robinson leads there 21-14 at halftime. So Bauxite staying in the game, playing well. Nashville's traveled up to Haskell Harmony Grove, and Nashville leads that game at halftime 14-6. So three close games around the conference. I'm not sure about the Fountain Lake Malvern game, but I have to guess based on the records we've seen from those teams, that one might be close as well.
Well, weather can have the effect of keeping two teams a little bit closer than sometimes you might think that they would be. Arkadelphia got out to a 14-0 lead. Ashdown got 2 touchdowns, couldn't make any extra points, so it's 14-12, and then 2 field goals from Gabe Goodman. But Ashdown gets the ball first in the second half, Caleb, so that's key for the Arkadelphia defense.
Yeah, and that gives Ashdown a chance to tie the football game before Arkadelphia even touches the ball. So Arkadelphia is going to need to come up with a stop here on defense, because if you get a stop on the first drive of the game, first drive of the second half, and then you score on the second drive of the second half, that puts you up at a 27 or 28-12 here to start, to move further into this football game, and that lead looks a lot more menacing than does an 8-point lead for the Badgers.
We're going to talk with Chris Babb here as our halftime guest as soon as he finishes squeegeeing off the board in front of us to make sure that we are protecting the equipment. And
I personally just don't want to get electrocuted.
Well, that would be good too, because we need you to help carry the equipment back to the car. This is quite an event here as we try to stay a little bit dry. Yeah.
So you're just going to let your wife?
Yeah, she's doing a good job, isn't she?
I bet they never counted on a halftime show quite like this.
I know. We've never had one quite this wet before. But, hey, we're on the air. So let's talk about Arkadelphia High School, Chris. The Badgers in a key game tonight, leading by 8 here at halftime. It looked for a moment like the Badgers might run away with it, but Ashdown came right back with a couple of long touchdowns. And now the Badgers have an opportunity in the third quarter to try to take control of the game by reestablishing their defense as Ashdown will have the ball first.
Yeah, 2 big plays in the first half. Caleb talked about those there just a few minutes ago. 2 big plays. One was the pass to the tight end. Watching Arkadelphia and Ashdown play in the junior high game last night, that was part of the staple of the Ashdown offense, so the varsity coaches knew it was coming. Just a little bit different alignment than what they had prepared for with the tight end, and he was able to make the catch. And then, of course, you had the misdirection play, and obviously you've probably been able to hear some of it in the background, but we are not only are we wet, but we are in a small area, and we're with the coaches, so you guys have the headsets on and may not be able to hear everything, but it's just little things. It's hearing the coaches talk from the box down to the track. It's to the field, which is about 15 feet in front of us. It's just little things. It's like having your eyes in the right spot. Little 6 inches here, a foot here. Just getting your reads and correcting those things. This coaching staff has shown that they've been able to do that. Players have been receptive, and that's what they're working on right now.
When the other team is running a misdirection offense, Chris, sometimes it's one player in the wrong position or being faked out by a misdirection play, and suddenly it's a big play for that offense. So discipline is part of it, aggressiveness. You have to be both patient, disciplined, and aggressive, all 3 of those things at the same time for the defense. Let's talk a little bit outside of the world of football for Arkadelphia. The band unable to perform tonight, but their season is not over yet. They got a lot going on.
No, and they're supposed to have started last week, but technically it won't start until tomorrow. The first competition for the band will be at the championship at the Rocket War Memorial Stadium. Prelims in the afternoon, finals at night. I think it's supposed to clear out of here this evening and not interrupt that. But last week the band was supposed to have a competition at Lake Hamilton, and that was rained out. Arkadelphia Choir Program is hosting all-region tryouts tomorrow at Arkadelphia High School. I think around 700 students from around the region are going to be at AHS. Maria Richardson has done a great job of hosting that. That's one of those things. It's great that we're having it here, but there's a lot of work. I know she and a lot of her choir members and a lot of the choir boosters were up there at the high school today preparing for that. So about 700 students will be on campus tomorrow at Arkadelphia High School for the all-region tryouts. Then you go into next week, you got a lot of things going on in athletics. The Lady Badger volleyball team will play in the first round of the state tournament at Mena. They are going to be the 4 seed from the 4A West. In volleyball, it's called the 4A West. And they'll most likely play Morrilton Tuesday. Also tomorrow going on, the junior high volleyball team, the 9th grade volleyball team, has their district tournament. That's at Malvern. It's a one-day event, and they play the second match. So the first match starts at 10, and so they didn't put times. They just wanted to roll with them. So a lot of things going on. And one special project I want to put the word out about. Next Wednesday, the 24th, the FBLA chapters of Arkadelphia High School and Goza Middle School are conducting their community service project and fundraiser. Last month of September, Ms. Ashley Wesley and Jaquetta Berry, the sponsors of those programs, did a T-shirt fundraiser, the Badgers for the Cure. And they're going to, they're working with the UAMS mobile mammo van to provide, that goes around the state and provides free mammograms for women in the state of Arkansas 40 and over who have not had one this year. And so, if you can call Arkadelphia High School Monday, I don't know what the deadline is, so you have to call and make an appointment. So I don't know what the deadline is for that, but it's at least worth checking out. But also the FBLA chapters of AHS and Goza are going to be presenting a $2,500 check to UAMS from the fundraiser, the T-shirt fundraiser, to help that program go around the state and be able to provide free mammograms for women. And so a good community service project there for Miss Wesley and Miss Berry. And if you have a family member or friend who could take advantage of that project, feel free to call the high school You can also go on the APSD Facebook page and find more information, or arkadelphiaschools.org and find information on the number that you can call Monday to maybe get an appointment for there.
Communications Director for the Arkadelphia Public Schools, Chris Babb, has been our guest here at halftime, and he is with us for every broadcast as our engineer with the live stream. We appreciate that very much. We're just a couple of minutes away from kickoff, so we'll take one more break. You're in tune to KDEL FM 100.9 in Arkadelphia. The Badgers lead it at halftime, 20 for Arkadelphia, 12 for Ashdown. We'll be back in 2 minutes. And for the live stream, we are right back with you now. We'll have a little bit more conversation with Chris Babb. Chris, in your position as communications director, you have an opportunity to work with the principals at every school and see kids of every age and the great work is being done by teachers throughout the district.
There are, and that's one of the goals of that I've tried to do. I worked with the principals to try to tell stories. This week we did a story on a Central Primary School with a recycling grant that they received. Ms. Charlotte DeWitt, the counselor at Central, the grant is allowing Central to expand its recycling program. Another, I think universities call it high impact learning, but that's another thing for youth, for younger students to see the impact and the importance of recycling. We've got a few other stories. We've got some musicals this week. I believe Peak Elementary is having a musical on the 25th at 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and we're going to try to put that on YouTube. We were able to do that with the Parrott Primary program. So there are lots of teachers, that they're with those kids every day. There are stories, all kinds of stories that a teacher has most impact over a lot of kids that may need a stability, and that's what we have a great group of teachers who do a great job across the district of taking care of all kinds of students.
We have been thanking our sponsors as we've gone through the broadcast, and I want to do a little bit more of that right now because we're so thankful for them. I want to say thank you to State Farm Insurance with Roger Wingfield. I want to say thank you to Welch Funeral Home, to Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, to Southern Bank Corp, to Eddie Arnold of Jostens and Twin Rivers Health and Rehabilitation, to Doctors Gary and Rob Rucker. I want to say thank you to All Care Insurance tonight, to Taylor King Law, all of those sponsors that have helped us all year long. Southwest Sporting Goods, one of those longtime sponsors of Arkadelphia Athletics. All of our sponsors helping us so much this year and bringing you for the first time a live stream on video here of the Arkadelphia Badger football games, and also on KDEL, the longtime place where you can go to pick up Arkadelphia High School athletics, football, and other sports as well for many, many years here on KDEL, dating back to the 1970s. So Arkadelphia has made its way back to the field. They are warming up in the far sideline and far end zone, I should say. And Ashdown has not made its way back because they're probably warming up in the nice, dry comfort of their practice facility just to our right over here, but they'll make their way back to the wet field here soon. And Arkadelphia seems a bit refreshed after halftime and ready to play in this second half. Once again, at halftime, Arkadelphia 20, Ashdown 12. And Chris, it looks like it's going to be a very wet second half as the rain just won't quite stop. It's still coming down, maybe not quite as hard as earlier, but it's a steady rainfall and has been throughout the game.
It is. This is still from before the game. That time was 6:51, but you see down to the southwest of Ashdown that big yellow and orange and red from New Boston. I probably have a feeling that's what we saw there in the second quarter. I hope that's what we saw in the second quarter. But if you expand upon on that, that's the only as far out as that image goes. But it's going to be a rainy rest of the second half, and we do want that, but we want to keep any of the other stuff away.
Yes, we have not had any lightning, so no delays in this game. We don't expect any delays in the second half. No lightning tonight, just a steady rainfall. Not any sparks from the equipment either, because Chris Babb's done a nice job of trying to keep it as dry as possible, drier than any of us, I think, even though we are inside in the press box. Here comes Ashdown as they get ready for the second half also. They reset the scoreboard for another 4.5 minutes before kickoff, so they're given both teams quite a long halftime to get ready, but that's okay. Both teams needed a chance to regroup, and they have done so. Arkadelphia will be kicking off to begin the second half, and so, Caleb, it's going to be a key to see the Badgers play well early in the third quarter. It's an old adage that the first 5 minutes of the third quarter is always a key point in the game, maybe especially tonight with Arkadelphia and an 8-point lead going on defense first.
Yeah, it's going to be key for the Badgers to stop this Ashdown offense and keep them off the scoreboard to start the second half. And then also for the Arkadelphia offense to put together a long drive. We haven't seen this offense put together a drive yet tonight. We've seen them score 4 different times throughout the game, but every time they've scored the football, they've gotten it. They've gotten the ball with good starting field position. So this Arkadelphia offense needs to put together a drive here to start the second half, and that's going to be really key, to their success, is whether or not they can put together a few plays and get 5-6 plays, take some time off the clock, and get the ball in the end zone after a little bit of momentum. And that'll get some good things going for their offense. Another thing to note, you look at the Arkadelphia sideline. It is just a big puddle of water. So every time the players come over to the sideline, they're going to be standing in a puddle. And actually see all the starters are kind of huddled under a tent over there on the left side of the field near the 30-yard line. So it looks like the starters are going to stand underneath this tent, try to keep their feet dry, and hopefully these other players, some of the younger guys, are just standing in the mud out here. So when you talk about the referees being a bit miserable on the field, the sophomores here for Arkadelphia standing in the mud, they might be equally as miserable here watching the football game.
Not as bad as Dardanelle from 15, and I know the coaches use that in film and that example of you got to play through the elements. They used that earlier this week and today, and that's what they're going to have in the second half.
Yeah, that was not only you just turn my volume off. There we go, I'm back. That was not only a cold night at Dardanelle and a wet night at Dardanelle, but the field was in much worse condition than the field here at Ashdown is tonight. That kickoff is going to sail out of bounds, and so Arkadelphia will send its defense out onto the field, and good field position for Ashdown after the penalty. Arkadelphia kicked off out of bounds, tried to go for the corner, and just missed it by a little bit. But Gabe Goodman is a hero tonight because on the last play of the first half, he made a 41-yard field goal that gave Arkadelphia an 8-point lead. It's Arkadelphia 20, Ashdown 12. Ashdown will come back out onto the field with its offense momentarily. The Arkadelphia defense already on the field, and we're just about ready to start second half action. From the 35-yard line, its own 35, Ashdown comes out onto the field. Once again, they've run the spread at times, and more often than not, they have run the wing T formation. So that's what they're going to line up in. Quarterback under center is Bearden, and now they've called a timeout. Well, my goodness, you have a long halftime, and before you can run a play, you have to call timeout. That's unusual.
Yeah, and it looks like the play clock just ran out for Ashdown, so they spent too long running out in the field and getting their formation, and they had to burn timeout. So that could come back to bite them. This is a close game. Only one possession game right now, and having to call a timeout before there's any time even run off the clock in the second half is, could prove to be detrimental to the Panthers, if this continues to be close into the fourth quarter.
Now the two teams are back out and ready for action. Arkadelphia got a little pep talk on the near sideline as well. And now Ashdown's going to line up once again. A halfback's behind the tackles, one running back behind the quarterback who is under center. And he's going to pitch it, and they're going to run to the right side. There's some blocking at the line of scrimmage, but a good tackle and a gain of 3 on the play. 2nd down and 7 coming as we're underway in the second half.
Arkadelphia doing a good job there on the toss play, and that's the kind of play where we saw Ashdown break off some big runs in the first half, in the second quarter particularly. So Arkadelphia did a good job keeping that to a 2 to 3 yard gain, on the halfback toss.
The quarterback, once again, is not a big guy. He's 5'10", 160, but he knows how to run these offenses, and he's passed well in these elements tonight. Bradley Bearden is his name. He's going to pitch it. Now they're going to trap it back to Nutt, but Nutt is hit and tackled immediately. He's been their most dangerous runner tonight, but he was tackled as soon as he picked up a couple of yards. They did not give him the 40-yard line. From the 39-yard line, it is 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, another misdirection there from Ashdown, that time going to the right side after faking it to the left side. Nutt on the carry there, only not really being able to pick up any yards on that play, making it Ashdown's first possession, now 3rd and long.
Yeah, 3rd down and 7. Now that I see the mark, they didn't give him the spot that I expected from the 38-yard line. On 3rd down and 7, they'll run a handoff to the right side. There's a little bit of yardage, but not nearly enough. And Arkadelphia, it would appear, Caleb, is going to force a punt.
Yeah, it looks like it, and that's exactly what you needed from Arkadelphia's defense. Come out and, get a 3 and out from this Ashdown team. And they're sending out, all new players on the field here. It looks like they're definitely going to be punting the football. And so Arkadelphia doing a really, really nice job.
Arkadelphia lining up to return the punt. Bearden, the quarterback, is also the punter. You're in a spot where you could see a fake, but Arkadelphia lines up looking for that, I think. And the snap is good, and the kick is underway. Low line drive kick. Tadamy has it bounce in front of him. He tried to pick it up. Now he's going to fight for the ball, and I think he got it. He couldn't return it, but he did recover the ball when it was loose back up at the 20-yard line. So Arkadelphia will have the ball, but 80 yards away.
Yeah, and that's good for Tadamy to pick up that ball off the bounce, able to get it. That's really unfortunate there if he had muffed that punt and had been picked up by Ashdown after such a good defensive possession. But Badgers have the ball now on offense, and I told you earlier they need to put together a drive. It's time now for the Badger offense to come out, put together a string of plays, and get a long drive going in the end zone. We've yet to see them score when they got the ball in their own side of the 50-yard line.
The defense did its job, 3 and out. Now the offense has the ball from its own 20-yard line, running play. This is Hatley looking for a hole and not finding one. He gains nothing on first down.
Yeah, that time Hatley trying to get it to the right side and kind of looking to cut back on that play, but realized that there was nowhere to cut back to, and taken down immediately there and not being able to pick up a yard on that play. Just Hatley just that time really just needed to just go through and try and make a power on that play, but just wasn't able to do so.
Second down, 10 yards to go. Kyron Harrison checks in at running back. Hatley will check out. And Arkadelphia will run it with Harrison. No, it's a fake, and Turner will keep it. There's a good gain. He'll fight for extra yardage, and they're going to pull him down as he nears the 30-yard line. But that's close to a first down. I don't think they're going to give it to him. Let's see where they spot the ball. It's close. He needed the 30 for a first down, and they're going to spot him just about a yard short. They put it down at the 29-yard line. Third down, 1 yard to go. We're nearing 9 minutes to play now in the third quarter. Arkadelphia leads at 20-12, and they'll line up in the I formation, and they will run the quarterback keeper, and I don't know. It's very close. I'm not sure if they've got it or not. The line judge is going to spot this, the side judge, right at the 30, so he's going to make it. I mean, he just barely got forward progress to the 30, but that should be enough for a first down.
It's kind of interesting on that play. The Arkadelphia offensive line was running forward like they thought they had they were just running forward without blocking anyone, running straight ahead, while the whole Ashdown defensive line was making the tackle there on the quarterback. So a little bit of confusing play there.
I think they're going to measure this. Now, the ball is touching the 30-yard line, but remember, it wasn't placed there after a kick into the end zone or anything. They just had a first down that was marked at the 20, so they want to make sure that the 30-yard line is enough. Could be an inch or two short, or it may be a first down. They're going to stretch the chain, and Arkadelphia has a first down by just the nose of the football. Just the nose of the football. First down and 10, Arkadelphia. Well, so far, that long drive you asked for, Caleb, is still in business. First down and 10, Badgers at the 30.
Yeah, you notice the far sideline of Victor Tadamy's in the football game at wide receiver, and Ashdown has not flipped their corners. They've been liking to play with their best cornerback covering Tadamy. They didn't flip their corners this time, so Tadamy is in main coverage on the far sideline.
Turner will keep it, run up the middle. He's got 5. He breaks a tackle. He's to the 40, to the 45, 50-yard line. A cut to the 45, to the 40. The ball comes loose, picked up by Harrison, and he'll run it. And now he's knocked out of bounds. My goodness, good work by Harrison to pick up the loose ball, but a good run by Turner before that. And Arkadelphia is in business, Jack, with the ball at the 38-yard line of Ashdown.
Yeah, and when that ball was popped out of Cannon Turner's hands, everyone just kind of froze for a second, but Kyron Harris had the awareness to pick up that football and go out of bounds. A good run there by Cannon Turner, shaking off a couple of tackles there. And like Caleb said, this long drive is keep on going, and Badgers are in opposing territory.
It is a wet football, and players on both sides having to really concentrate to secure the ball at all times. Ball at the 38-yard line, right hash mark. Arkadelphia looks to the sideline for the play. Harrison is the running back. Quarterback, Cannon Turner. Rubel is the blocking back to the left side. Arkadelphia will run it with Harrison. He'll bounce it to the outside, but he cannot escape the tackle of the defensive end, and he'll gain only 1 or 2.
And Harrison that time really not able to get much on that play, trying to break it to the outside after really there was no space for him to go up the middle on that power run. But good open field tackle there by Ashdown to bring him down and only allow him 1 yard on that play.
Arkadelphia will line up after a long look to the sideline, getting the play from the coaches. And now they're going to line up with 2 blocking backs for Harrison. Harrison takes it up the middle. He's looking for yardage. He will get only another yard or 2, and it will be 3rd down and long. Tadamy checks in.
Yeah, Tadamy checking in now on 3rd and long. He's been playing a lot more on offense than we've seen the last couple of weeks, and we're playing a better defense, so you need some of your best playmakers in the game more often than not on offense. So Tadamy checking in at receiver, and both Tadamy and Buster Thomas are at wideouts as Arkadelphia is on 3rd down.
On 3rd down, a pass play. Here is a throw. It is incomplete. Knocked down in front of Whitten. That was a fine defensive play by Cameron Benton, and it creates a 4th down and long for Arkadelphia.
Yeah, the sophomore safety for Ashdown doing a good job just sliding down in front of Rubel and knocking that ball out of his hand. So really nice play by him, and Arkadelphia's got a 4th down situation here, and they can pick this up and continue their drive, and this is definitely 4-down territory as they are on the Ashdown 37-yard line.
Not going to punt the ball away. They'll go for it at this part of the field, no doubt. In motion comes Thomas, and he comes to the right side and now will line up. Cannon Turner in the shotgun will quick kick it, and he'll send it down the right sideline. It's going to bounce at the 10. It rolls to the 5, still rolling to the 3-yard line, and Arkadelphia will down it there. Jacket worked perfectly.
Yeah, a good disguise punt there from Cannon Turner. We've seen that a couple times throughout the past couple of years, and that time worked absolutely perfectly. Cannon Turner taking the snap, a good snap on the play, and punting it down inside the 5-yard line of Ashdown. So Ashdown's going to have to go, looks to be about 97 yards if they want to get in the end zone on this drive.
So Arkadelphia will send its defense onto the field. Cannon Turner stays in to play safety.
Yeah, Arkadelphia has knocked Cannon Turner into this game on defense, playing safety, and I think they might just trust him a bit more. He's got a really high football IQ out there, and Coach Eldridge talked about that a lot. I mean, a few weeks ago, Turner came in at safety and was playing the entire football game. They're only having practice at the position for 2 days. So really high football IQ and really good presence there on the defense.
Here is a pass play down the seam, and it is complete. It is complete to the 18-yard line. They'll call that a catch. A good pass again by the quarterback, Robertson, who in the rain has been able to make some good passes. Arkadelphia thought perhaps the ball was dropped, but apparently they called it a catch, and then he fell on the loose ball after that. But it's a nice gain and a 1st down out at the 19-yard line. They passed from the 3. Got out of the hole out to the 19. 1st down for Ashdown. Back to the spread. They'll line up with the quarterback in the shotgun formation, and he will fake a draw, throw the ball to the flat, and he missed his target that time, incomplete.
Arkadelphia's strategy here when Ashdown comes out in the shotgun passing formation is just to put pressure on the quarterback. I think the film might show that the quarterback doesn't play well under pressure, and that's what we've seen so far from Bearden. Is he makes good throws when he has time, but when he's under pressure, he tends to throw the ball away and get kind of errant with his accuracy. So Arkadelphia doing a good job here playing and sending guys off the edge, putting pressure on the quarterback.
Ashdown takes a long time in the huddle. They got that pass away by snapping the ball with 1 second left on the play clock. Now they're under 10, and he is back under center. 2 wide receivers there, and they're going to pitch it. Here is a running play, and it's a short gain as Arkadelphia has 3-4 Badgers in on the tackle.
Yeah, really nowhere to run for Ashdown on that play as they try and go up the middle with another power run, but that time really had nothing going on that play as really the entire Badger defensive line was able to get in on that tackle to prevent Ashdown from getting any yards whatsoever.
Back of the football touching the 20-yard line. It's 3rd down, 9 yards to go for Ashdown. They have shown an ability to pass tonight with Bearden at quarterback, whether he lines up in the shotgun or under center in their T formation. We'll see what they'll do. Probably the shotgun on 3rd and 9, and I think that is not going to be the call. They're going to line up under center. Well, will we see a misdirection run or a pass from this formation? He's going to pass, rolling to his right, under pressure. He fires it down the sideline. Arkadelphia almost intercepted the ball. Tadamy almost had another one.
Yeah, 3rd down there. Tadamy almost got his 2nd pick of the game, sliding in front of the, diving in front of the pass. Ball just slips out of his hands and hits the ground. But that was 3rd and long, and now it's 4th and long. And Academy's going to go back to his punt return position where he's done so well. 2 really fine returns tonight from Academy, and he'll look to make it a 3rd here as Bearden's dropping back to his punter position to kick the ball back to the Badgers.
The snappers for both teams have done a fine job snapping wet football tonight. They're going to have to snap it to Bearden as he will stand back inside his own 10-yard line to receive this snap and get the punt away. And Arkadelphia goes after it. He kicks it high and short. Arkadelphia trying to get out of the way. It's going to be a short kick, a little bit of a roll for Ashdown, but not much. It's going to roll dead at the 35-yard line of Ashdown. What a great opportunity now for the Arkadelphia offense.
Yeah, and I think that time the punt might have been tipped. And if it wasn't tipped, then the punter just had to get that ball away as quickly as possible. Ball going straight up in the air, only going maybe 10, 15 yards on that punt. But like you said, Jeff, Badgers going to have great field position here. Looks to be on the opposing 35-yard line. So it could be, look for it to be a quick touchdown drive for the Badgers to try and make it a 2-possession game here.
Yeah, you called the yardage correctly. A 15-yard punt, and Arkadelphia will take advantage with a first down at the 35-yard line of Ashdown. Arkadelphia 20, Ashdown 12, 5:22 left. We're in the 3rd quarter tonight. Badgers send Rubel in motion. They want to run the ball. Here is Cannon Turner looking for a place to turn upfield. He's got yardage to the 30, to the 25, knocked out of bounds, but a good run on first down.
Yeah, really nice run there from Turner, and he had good blocking on that run. I'm going to give some credit to Arkadelphia's offensive lineman on that play. Jaden Quarles did a really nice job making a block and freeing up space for Turner to get around the edge and pick up that first down. So really nice blocking from Arkadelphia. The right tackle doing a good job stealing the edge, giving Arkadelphia Cannon Turner some space to run.
They're going to spot the ball at the 20, so he picked up 15 yards on the run. And Arkadelphia looks to the sideline to get the play. 1st and 10, Arkadelphia, ball at the 20-yard line of Ashdown. Badgers trying to build onto an 8-point lead midway through the 3rd quarter. They are already in field goal position. We know that. Goodman 2 for 2 tonight despite the field conditions. Here is a running play, but Hatley will lose 5 as a linebacker blitz got in there quickly and made the tackle as soon as Hatley got the ball, lost 5.
Yeah, that was a really nice defensive play call there from Ashdown. It was a power run left, and the pulling guard, was just followed by the Ashdown defensive lineman. Really was too quick for the center to block back on him, and able to get in the backfield and make the tackle on Hatley.
They'll spot it as a loss of 4, so it's 2nd down, 14 yards to go for Arkadelphia. Hatley in to the right of his quarterback, Cannon Turner. Turner wants to run again. He's got a little bit of room to the 23, 21-yard line and tackle there. Just a shoestring tackle, or he might have made big yardage. It's going to be 3rd down and long.
Yeah, Cannon Turner just trying to get that power run going like we've seen so much tonight. Going to the right side, and that time just getting tripped up there. Shoelace tackle, like you said, Jeff. A little unfortunate there for Turner. Could have been a long run there, only a couple yards on that play, though.
Ball at the 21-yard line, 3rd down, 11 for the Badgers. They look to the sideline to get the play, letting some clock run. We're down to 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Arkadelphia 20, Ashdown 12. Badgers on 3rd down and long. Turner will run it. He's to the left side. He breaks it into the secondary. Is inside the 10-yard line. Good running. He's near the end zone. He didn't get there, but he got close. What a good run. They're going to spot him down. I guess a knee went down at the 6-yard line. Not quite as close to the end zone as I had thought. One of the Badgers signaled touchdown, but he got a little excited. And we did too, but it's a great run on 3rd down to pick up the first jack, and good field position now inside the 10.
Yeah, and that's really what you want to keep doing is just get Cannon Turner involved on the run, just keep the defense guessing on who the ball is going to be handed off to, and that time Cannon Turner just going up the left side, finding a whole lot of space on that play and able to get inside the 10-yard line for the Badgers.
From the 6, 1st down, goal to go. Arkadelphia leading by 8, trying to make it a 2-possession game, and a flag goes down just as the ball is snapped. Oh, my goodness. Let's see what this is. It is going to go against Ashdown as somebody lined up off sides. And so that'll make it half the distance to the goal. It should mark it off to the 3-yard line. They haven't marked it off yet. Oh, he signaled it the wrong direction. It's against Arkadelphia. Well, I wondered because they stopped the play, but he signaled it against Ashdown. But the mark-off is against Arkadelphia. To the 11-yard line it goes. Oops. And so from the 11, it's first down and goal. First down and goal, ball at the 11-yard line. Arkadelphia leading by 8, trying to stretch out that lead here in the third quarter. They're going to send receivers to the near side. That would be Thomas, Brown, and Hatley. Alone in the backfield is the quarterback, Cannon Turner. Turner wants to run. He'll go to the right side, hit immediately. He's going to drive forward for some yardage. And they're going to, whoa, now we've got some bad action going on at the end of the play. And the players are going to have to be separated now, unfortunately. The young man who made a big tackle for Ashdown was still working. I don't know if they're going to call this against both teams or against Ashdown. And now a flag goes down later, so there are 3 flags down. We're going to have to unfold this. The players are separated. Turner had made good yardage, but as he was being tackled and his forward progress stopped, about the time the whistle blew, Ashdown continued to retaliate or fight, maybe not retaliate, but start something against Arkadelphia, and we have not had a signal yet. But we do have 3 flags down. One of them came well after the play, and it was definitely against Ashdown, as there were 3 Ashdown players around an official. So let's see. The officials, of course, have to get control, and they're going to have a conversation. How is this going to be marked off? The play was a 1st and 11 for Arkadelphia. 1st and goal, actually, for Arkadelphia, I should say, from the 11-yard line. We're still waiting for the officials. Now, Arkadelphia's come to the sideline, and the coaches are calming people down at the same time saying, you got to concentrate now. You can't get emotional, but you got to concentrate. Ashdown now is going to be escorted by their coaches back to their sideline also. So everything's under control, but we don't know how they're going to mark off the penalty yet.
Yeah, it seemed like the referees kind of just threw all the flags that they had out on the field. As kind of the extracurricular activity just kept on going after the whistle had gone, and after the initial fight between the players, coaches all came on the field trying to separate all the guys, and in the process drawing a couple flags themselves. So like you said, Jeff, it'll be interesting to see how the referees play this altercation here.
The player for Ashdown who was involved is also their kicker, which is interesting. We'll see. Of course, he has not made he tried and missed one conversion, and then they went for 2 and missed that. So I don't know if he'd be kicking anymore anyway. But we'll see if anybody's going to leave the game or if it's just going to be penalties marked off. It was active there for a while and right in the middle of the pile, so there are a lot of players near the action. I don't know how many were actually fighting. Definitely 2, maybe more than that, but it all happened right in the middle of a large pile-up. So it was frightful there for a moment.
And let's see if we get an idea of what actually happens. There's no mic on the referee, so, with 3 flags on the field, it's going to be a bit confusing for us to get you exactly what the calls are and exactly what the consequences are for the players out on the field. We
can tell you the ball's spotted at the 8-yard line right now. Now, they may be about to move it one direction or the other, but the gain was 3 yards. So it's 2nd down and goal from the 8, unless they're going to mark off something, and I suspect they will. And it's going to be unsportsmanlike against Arkadelphia, unsportsmanlike against Ashdown. Those are offsetting. Is anything else going to happen? Yes, there is one more called against Ashdown. That's the one, guys, that came after everything else was over, when there were 3 Ashdown players around an official and he threw a flag in the air. So clearly that was not because of the fight, but because of something that happened after the fight that just involved Ashdown.
Yeah, and I think that when it's in such a pile like that and the referees aren't in a great position to see exactly what happened, that's just, I guess the easy call for them to make is offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. So Arkadelphia is going to have to come out here and keep a level head to come out and, turn some of this frustration they have into motivation to do some better blocking and get in the end zone here. They're in great field position now on the 8-yard line to get in the end zone, and the ball is going to move forward. It's going to be 1st down and 1st and goal for Arkadelphia.
Well, the ball's at the 8, but I think they should mark this off half the distance to the goal because there were 2 calls that offset, and there was a third call that went against Ashdown. And they haven't marked it off yet, but that's the motion that they made to the home side. There's also some confusion about whether or not anybody's got to leave the game. The player for Ashdown that was involved is still on the field. Arkadelphia had a player look like he was leaving, and then he came back to the huddle. So there's more discussion going on the field. I don't think we have the full story yet.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit difficult for us to get the full story up here in the press box. Like I said, this isn't like a college football game. There's the referees don't have a mic on them, so we're not going to be able to hear exactly what's going on down there.
We will be able to see where they put the football, but they just haven't moved it yet. So we'll have to see, are they going to leave it at the 8-yard line? Are they going to mark off anything against anybody after all of this?
And I think it ought to be half the distance to the goal
I agree.
for unsportsmanlike against Ashdown.
I agree. They called it against both players who were fighting, and that offset. But then they had another penalty that went down clearly at a different time, a later time than the first call. And that should be half the distance to the goal. They should be at the 4-yard line, but they're not there yet. Right now it's just a long conversation. Let's see if they're going to mark it off at all. Ball right now at the 8-yard line. Arkadelphia has an 8-point lead and trying to stretch it out here in the third quarter. And they, I think, are going to mark it off because they just picked up the football. Let's see if it happens. Yeah, they're going to mark it off half the distance to the goal, so they'll put the ball at the 4-yard line. Best I can tell, this is the correct call. You had 2 players who were into it. Calls against both of those young men offset. But then a later penalty against Ashdown that clearly Ashdown was the only team involved in that, and so half the distance to the goal. From the 4-yard line, Arkadelphia lines up in the I formation. Rubel at fullback, Hatley at tailback. The quarterback is Cannon Turner. From the 4, they're going to hand it to the fullback, Rubel, who bounces off a tackler and makes a little bit of yardage. Boy, Ashdown was there in a hurry, Jack, but Rubel did a good job of bouncing off the first tackler and making some positive yardage.
Yeah, Rubel, he's just such a strong player for this Badgers team. Does a great job of blocking in open space as well as a lot of other things, but just his pure strength on that play was able to get him a couple yards on that play, and it looks like the Badgers are maybe just a yard or 2 away from the end zone.
Well, Arkadelphia is a bit upset that they didn't get an automatic first down on that penalty because that was 3rd down, and the officials are now saying it's 4th down and Arkadelphia will have to kick field goal. Goodness, not an automatic first down on the unsportsmanlike conduct call. So here's the kick, and Goodman's kick is good. He's made his 3rd field goal of the night, and Arkadelphia has a 2-possession lead at 23-12 with 1:56 left in the third quarter. We'll be back in 30 seconds. And those of you who are on the live stream, we are back with you now. Arkadelphia 23, Ashdown 12. We had a long delay in the game after an altercation between 2 players. A unsportsmanlike call against both of those players, and then a 3rd unsportsmanlike against Ashdown. And some discussion between, I think, a couple of players and an official. They marked it off half the distance to go from the 8-yard line to the 4-yard line, but it was not an automatic first down. So it was 3rd down and goal from the 4. The running play made it to the 2. And then on 4th down and goal, they kicked field goal. So Arkadelphia has its 3rd field goal of the night from Gabe Goodman. And Gabe lines up to kick off. And it's a 2-possession lead again. 11-point lead for Arkadelphia. 1:56 left in the third quarter. And Arkadelphia is set to kick off with Gabe Goodman, who has put the ball in the end zone a couple of times tonight. But Ashdown's also had a good return at one point tonight. And deep to receive for Ashdown is Neil Williams Jr., running back, a junior. We'll see if he'll get a chance. The rain is still coming down. It has been throughout the game. Not quite as hard now as it was in the second quarter when the rain was really coming down. Here is a line drive kick. It will be past the return man. It will just barely roll into the end zone. That was almost a big break for Arkadelphia, Jack.
Oh, yeah. Gabe Goodman kicked the line drive. It first hit at about the 5-yard line, and the Ashdown return man just kind of let the ball go, hoping it'd go in the back of the end zone. And thankfully it did, but just by a yard or 2. So good break there for Ashdown, as it could have been a disaster there for the Panthers.
Yeah, it hit this wet turf and stopped rolling pretty quickly, but got about a yard or two into the end zone before it stopped. So Ashdown has a first down and 10 at its own 20-yard line. Panther offense back on the field. This is a dangerous offense. They've had a couple of long touchdowns, one on a fake run, play-action pass, and they got a receiver wide open down the field for a touchdown, and then on a misdirection running play, they got a long touchdown. But they haven't had many first downs otherwise. Here's a running play to the right side, and not a lot there as Arkadelphia has a lot of players in. And once again, this may have had something to do with the fight that happened earlier. The officials and the AAA, I guess, have decided to let players kind of get in a big pile and push each other as long as the running back is still moving. And that has created an opportunity for some folks to strip the football on occasion, some folks to get extra yardage on occasion, and on occasion just a few moments ago, a chance for a couple players to break into a fight. So Arkadelphia gained tackle that time for a gain of only 1. On 2nd down and 9 from the 21, Ashdown lines up. The quarterback is talking to his running backs. There's some confusion in the backfield, and they're going to have to call a timeout. And, Caleb, that is the second timeout called this half by Ashdown. They're trailing by 11. They only have one timeout left.
Yeah, I tell you what, this has kind of been the story of Ashdown over the past, 4 or 5 years. They have a lot of really good football players, a lot of good athletes, but then they just make too many mistakes, and it's just unforced errors against the Ashdown makes that really holds them back. You saw in the first half, they have good athletes, they have a good system, but they just kept getting holding calls, kept getting false starts, and now they've already burned 2 timeouts because they can't get in formation on time, and there's still a minute left in the third quarter. So Ashdown has really, really good football players and a good football team. They just make too many mistakes, and it could really cost them in a game like this that's close. Could come down to the wire in the fourth quarter.
First time out of the half for Ashdown came before they ran their first offensive play after the opening kickoff, and now they just called their second one here in the third quarter. Yes. So now they're going to line up. They got it all straight now. The quarterback under center will run that T formation. He has got a running back behind the right tackle. He's going to go in motion. They're going to pass it. They're looking to throw deep. Instead, they throw short, and it's incomplete. Goodness, did the ball just fall out of the quarterback's hand, Jack? I didn't get a clear look at that. He wanted to throw it down the field. Instead, it wound up falling at the feet of a running back, I believe. I'm not sure if he meant to throw the ball or if he was pump faking and the ball just got away from him.
Yeah, I'm not really sure much about that play either. Bearden was pressured on that play and just kind of looked like he just got rid of the ball, but it just went right down in front of him. So looks like they're just going to call an incompletion on the play instead of what could be a fumble or intentional grounding.
That's right. That's what they call it, incompletion. So it's 3rd down, 9 yards to go. Ashdown at its own 21-yard line. They'll send a man in motion. They're going to run that trap play, and this is Nutt. He will escape, make a nice run for a first down. Still moving. Nutt is a good runner, and he's going to have a first down across the 30.
Yeah.
Boy, he has been their biggest weapon this year, or this half.
He does get across the 30, but just barely across the 30. I think that he got across the 30, and then he kept trying to run, and he backed himself up, and he would have picked up about 3 or 4 more yards if he didn't turn around and run backwards, and that's where he got tackled. So, unfortunately for Nutt, he's an agile player, and he likes to make guys miss, but that time he almost got himself in a bad situation by picking up a first down and then running back behind the first down markers and getting tackled.
They gave him a good spot, though, up to 32. So it's a first down and 10. I'm with you, though. He kept running, not always in the right direction. Here's a run right up the middle and a gain of 3, maybe 4 yards. Good running in traffic, but Arkadelphia makes the tackle.
Tell him to throw the flag!
21 seconds left, clock running. Third quarter, Arkadelphia 23, Ashdown 12.
You're going to let the fight start.
Ball spotted now at the Ashdown 37-yard line. It's a pickup of 3, maybe 4 yards. And that's going to be the end of the quarter. So at the end of 3 quarters tonight, Arkadelphia 23, Ashdown 12. We'll be back with more Badger football in 1 minute.
Coach, we got washed. What we wrong on it, we got washed down big time.
Right back here with you in the live stream, you're seeing a celebration of sorts going on the Ashdown sideline as the coaches over there trying very hard to get their team to show some emotion here as the fourth quarter begins. Arkadelphia leads it by 11. Ashdown with the football, facing a 2nd down and 6 yards to go at its own 36-yard line. Badger defense played well tonight. They've given up 2 longer touchdowns, but otherwise they have shut down Ashdown. We got a score update?
Yeah, the big game of the week. Robinson leads Bauxite 28-21 in the third quarter. Still a close game there. And then Nashville still only leads Harmony Grove 21-12 in the third quarter. So close games around the conference right now.
My goodness. Got to wonder if that is the underdogs playing so well tonight, or a little bit of rain, or a little bit of both.
And Arkadelphia holds the biggest lead out of any team right now in the conference.
23-12, 11-point lead for Arkadelphia as we enter the fourth quarter. Here is a running play. This is going to be to the left side. Arkadelphia is there. Cole Turner and others making the tackle, and 3rd down is coming. He got a gain on the play, but only about 2 yards. 3rd down coming, and 4.
Yeah, like you said, Jeff, good pursuit there by the Badger defense. Cole Turner in specific, Ashdown was running it to the left side, was able to get to the outside, but Cole Turner was able to get that first hit and take down Ashdown on that play to prevent a 1st down, and making it now looks to be about 3rd and 4 on the play.
Yeah, the board is listing, now they've fixed it. 3rd down and 4 yards to go. They're going to line up in T formation. The quarterback is going to keep it. He'll roll to the left. He fires it downfield. It is incomplete. Extremely well covered on the far sideline by Victor Tatamy.
Yeah, perfect coverage there from Victor Tatamy. He, knocks the ball out of the hands of the receiver as he makes a tackle. So, I mean, it's like the receiver catches the ball, Tatamy's going to have him tackled. And if he doesn't catch the ball, Tatamy's knocking the ball out. He hits him, knocks the ball out, and then looks up at the Ashdown press box as he stands on the Ashdown sideline and throws the money sign at the press box. So Tatamy's feeling confident out there, and he knows he is probably the best cornerback out there on the field.
3rd down and 4, and they threw the ball in Tatamy's direction. That has got to be considered a mistake. It's 4th down and 4. They're going to line up for a punt. We'll see if that is actually the result, as the punter is also the quarterback. And they have called their last timeout. Oh, my goodness. Ashdown has called its last timeout of the football game.
And that's not something you want to have to happen. There's still 11 minutes left in this game, and Ashdown's out of timeouts. It's exactly the wrong thing you want to happen if you're losing by 2 scores in this ball game.
We'll keep it right here. You're in tune to KDEL FM 100.5 in Arkadelphia. The Arkadelphia Badgers 23, the Ashdown Panthers 12, 11-10 left in the football game. And once again, Ashdown has 0 timeouts left. Arkadelphia all 3, but Arkadelphia leads it by 11.
And that was I do not understand the decision from the Ashdown coaching staff there. If they're lining up to punt the football on 4th down, then they're going to use their last timeout to keep 5 yards on the field from getting a delay game. I'd just take the delay game there, move back 5 yards, and punt the football if that was going to be your decision anyways.
Down by 11. Well, maybe they called timeout so they can line up a trick play. You just got to be careful here. The punter is the quarterback. We'll see. Seems to be some discussion going on among the Ashdown players. Arkadelphia looks like they're ready for anything. They do have Tatamy deep, but they've got somebody on every Ashdown player. I think they'll be ready if it is a fake. Here's the snap, and he wants to pass it. He does throw it across the middle, and Arkadelphia tackles him immediately. They ran a fake after the timeout, and it didn't work at all, Jack.
Yeah, and like you just said, Caleb, the possibility of a trick play, and we just saw it there, the punter / quarterback just throwing it over the Badger defenders, about to come and tackle him, and really wasn't fooling a whole lot of people there as Ashdown was tackled almost immediately, not even picking up a yard on that 4th down and 4 play. So now the Badgers will get the ball in great field position to try and put more points on the board.
It was a complete pass, but it was essentially a screen pass, and he could not run for any yardage after the catch. And so the ball's turned over at the 35-yard line, and it is 1st down and 10 for Arkadelphia. Once again, the defense sets up the offense with great field position. Arkadelphia leads it by 11, and they would dearly love to stretch it out even more with 11 minutes left. Turner at quarterback, 3 receivers to the left, and flags go down before the play. And this one might go against the Badgers.
Looks like it will.
1st and 15 as they march Arkadelphia back in the wrong direction. They'll set up at the 40-yard line now.
And those are the kind of plays you can't have for Arkadelphia. You get really good field position there on the 35-yard line. Now you're march back 5 yards, got 1st and 15 to start the drive. So Arkadelphia is going to work in against themselves now, and they got to pick up some yards to make up for that penalty.
3 receivers to the left, tight end to the right. They want to run the ball. Here is Turner. He's got some room. He's up the middle. He cuts to the sideline. He might go. Good run by Cannon Turner. 5. Touchdown, Arkadelphia.
And Cannon Turner has been a starting quarterback for 3 years, and you could tell right there on that play because he took the snap and he sat back and watched for a second, and he waited for the hole to open up. And once the hole opened up, he just burst through it. So it was a perfect execution from Cannon Turner on the play. Perfect execution from the offensive line. He knew he was going to have to wait a second because he's a quarterback. He's not taking time for the ball to be handed off to the running back, so he's going to have to hesitate for just a moment to let that hole open up. And he waited, and the offensive line blocked perfectly. The hole was open. It's a touchdown for Arkadelphia.
Goodman on for the extra point attempt. The kick is up, and Goodman's kick is once again good, landing on the elementary school. And so Arkadelphia has stretched its lead out to 30-12 over Ashdown with 10:55 left in the football game, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. And with the live stream, we're right back with you now. They did a good job, Caleb, of spreading out the defense with 3 receivers to the left side of the field. He ran up the seam to the right, then hit the sideline to the right. Not enough defenders there to have a chance to catch him.
And Arkadelphia has been doing that all night, spreading out the field and then running to the opposite side. And they've been doing a really good job at that, creating space for Turner. And Turner has been the star runner really tonight for Arkadelphia. He's done a really, really fine job at waiting for those holes and following his blockers. I'll tell you what, that play, Turner, while he's a great running back, he didn't have to make anyone miss. He didn't have to break any tackles to get in the end zone. It was some really good blocking and some good ball carrier vision from Turner to find the hole and get in the end zone.
Absolutely. Very good speed, and he hit a section of the field that's not as torn up as it is here in the middle of the field, and that probably helped his traction as well. We are going to see Arkadelphia play some defense now for the rest of the game. Ashdown trails it by 18 now, and they have no timeouts. 10:55 left in the game.
Look for Gabe Goodman to try and get another touchback on this kickoff here, as we've seen so many times now already.
Goodman has made 3 extra points and 3 field goals tonight, and his kickoffs have been strong as well. Left-footed kicker puts a foot into it. They'll back up but return this one. And he is going to run back to the right to the near side of the field. He's to the 20, to the 25. Big tackle at the 26-yard line.
What a big tackle it was.
Patrick McLean on the tackle. Thank you for the spot there, Chris Babb. McLean did a good job of grabbing him and then pushing him into the sideline. Super open field tackle by McLean.
And it looked like Ashdown faked the handoff on that kick return. And Ashdown was able to get up to almost to the 30-yard line, but still great open field tackle by Patrick McLean there.
Ball to 29-yard line. Ashdown spending some time in the huddle. They need 3 scores to have a chance to catch up. They're going to line up in the shotgun formation. Back to the spread it is. They've been running the wing tee and the spread tonight. 2 very different offenses.
Coach, we got a tight end.
Arkadelphia responds. Snap is dropped, picked up. He's in trouble, though, and Arkadelphia's going to sack him. They'll drive him down inside the 20.
Yeah, it was a nice dual effort there from Campbell and Wallace, both of them bringing down the quarterback after he was chased around in the backfield after the drop snap. So good job, Arkadelphia, to be aware of the drop snap and get back there and make Ashdown pay for it. And that's a big 10-yard loss for the Panthers.
Arkadelphia taking advantage of that dropped snap, and then the quarterback, when he picked it up, had to avoid 2 Badgers, and finally the 3rd and 4th Badgers knocked him to the ground. So from the 18-yard line, 2nd down, 20 yards to go. 10:07 left, clock running. We're in the 4th quarter tonight. Arkadelphia 30, Ashdown 12.
So the play clock runs down again now at 5 seconds already.
Oh, my. They're going to have to hurry to get the snap off. Down to 1. Blow the whistle. Ooh, yeah, they blew the whistle. Fly 5 more yards. It's 2nd and 25.
I'll tell you what the problem is. It's like Ashdown's coaching staff has not developed a system to call plays in from the sideline to the quarterback, and he has to run to the sideline every time, get the play told to him by the coach, and then run back to the huddle, tell the play to the team, and then line up. So it's a really inefficient system, and especially as the clock runs down and Ashdown's working against the clock, they just ran the entire 25 seconds off the clock, and they're down by 18 points. They can't afford to do that in the fourth quarter. It's really inefficient game management from Ashdown.
2nd and 25 for the Panthers. They'll send a man in motion. A low snap. He does get the throw away. It's intercepted. Arkadelphia has a touchdown. The defensive end with the interception and the touchdown is Jason Campbell.
Wow. What a play there by Jason Campbell. Just right place, right time. Bearden tries to dump it off to his running back, and Campbell is right where that running back should be. Catches the football and just has just a nice red carpet there to the end zone. Badgers now up by 24 points. And just a horrible play there by Ashdown's quarterback once again, as we've seen so many times tonight. And the Badgers defense is able to come up with a score once again.
Arkadelphia had an 8-point lead at halftime and now has a 24-point lead. It's about to be 25 with this extra point by Goodman, who has been perfect tonight to the tune of all of his extra points and 3 field goals. Here's Goodman's kick. It is up, and it is good again. Arkadelphia 37, Ashdown 12, 9:34 left in the football game, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. And if you're watching the live stream, thanks to Ashton Spence on camera tonight, you're seeing some exciting Badger action. A little bit lower angle than usual, but exciting to see the players up close when they run right by the camera, as the stands are very close to the sidelines here at Ashdown. Old stadium. Kind of fun to come back here where it looks kind of similar to how it looked when I was in high school, I think. The stadium has...
Has it changed much, has it?
Some nostalgia built in.
You don't forget about the Megatron. That's new.
Yeah, I don't think we had that.
Yeah.
I don't think we had that one back in late 70s.
Maybe not.
Now, we had TVs, just not that big, you know.
Probably not.
And we can have a little fun because it's no longer a close game. Arkadelphia 37, Ashdown 12, 9:34 left in the football game. And Gabe Goodman is set to kick off. Well, Arkadelphia has turned this around with some big offensive plays and really good defense all night. Ashdown has scored on 2 long plays, but those came in the second quarter. Nothing in the third quarter. Nothing so far in the fourth quarter except a turnover, a touchdown interception return by defensive end Jason Campbell just moments ago. Let's put this one out of reach. Arkadelphia won't say that it's safe on the sideline, but feeling pretty safe to us in the box right now. Here's a line drive kick to the 8-yard line. It's going to be returned to the 10. Here's a reverse on the kickoff. He's got a little bit of room down the sideline, and he'll run across the 30 to the 31, 32-yard. A little bit of trickery on the kickoff. First down and 10 at the 32.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think the difference in this game has really come down to after that, that tussle, that fight that took so long near the end of the third quarter. Arkadelphia has kept their cool and kept their composure in this game, and Ashdown just simply has not done the same thing. And you see some bad snaps. You see Ashdown blockers really just it seems like they're on like kick return. There's a few players just hitting people for no particular purpose. They were just pushing on people for really no reason. And Arkadelphia, on the other hand, is playing discipline, and they've continued to play their game, and it's shown as they've taken the lead and run away with this game.
They are under center, running the T formation again. Running play to the left side gains only a yard or 2, and that's going to run more clock.
Yeah, and Ashdown only able to pick up a couple yards there, but it's kind of important to know to keep an eye on making sure this game doesn't get a little chippy here at the end, as Ashdown down by 25 now. Probably looking very slim chances of them to win this game with the clock now under 9 minutes left. So look for the Badgers to still keep their cool with Ashdown trying to get something started.
They did not come out in the shotgun throwing the football. They came out running the football on the wing T. We'll see what happens on second down and 9 yards to go, and they're back in the wing T formation.
Hey, it's overload.
Now maybe they'll go with Some misdirection. They're going to send Nutt in motion. They're going to hand it to him. To the left side he will go. He's a tough runner, but he's knocked out of bounds before he can get too much, and it's third down.
Yeah, and that's fortunate for Ashdown to run out of play there, because they have not really done a good job at managing the clock. So being able to get off the sideline there was really helpful for Ashdown. I'll tell you what.
8:28 left. 8:28 left. Arkadelphia up 37-12, and they're going to mark it finally with a very short game, so it's third and long.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Ashdown game management skills just have been subpar here in the second half. Like I said, it was good for them to get out of bounds there, because the quarterback's going to have to go to the sideline, get the play, come back to the huddle, and then break the huddle and start the formation, taking 20, 25 seconds off the clock every single play.
And they are not throwing the ball yet, but they might on third and long. He will throw it. He's in trouble. He's going to be sacked again. Arkadelphia is getting to the quarterback on a regular basis now when he wants to throw the ball.
Yeah, both of the defensive ends there getting to the quarterback and making a sack. It was Jason Campbell Ricky Rogers alongside Terrell Sumner there making the tackle in the backfield. So really good job there. Campbell, not Rogers.
Punting situation for Ashdown, and Tatamy will line up for this punt return along with Carlos Haney. Not going to try a fake this time, I don't think, because it's 4th down and 17 after that sack. 7:48 left, clock running. Arkadelphia feeling much better now. The Arkadelphia fans smiling despite the rain. Badgers 37, Panthers 12. Panthers late sending somebody on to line up for the punt team. Now here they go. Kick is a line drive end-over-end kick that will be allowed to bounce down the sideline and will take a nice Panther roll to the 35-yard line of Arkadelphia, but a flag is down back at the Ashdown 42-yard line. So we're waiting to see what the officials say. The officials, who are wet and maybe a little tired by now, they've had a long night. And we don't yet have an official call. We don't yet have an official call, but it looks like they're not going to have to repunt. I think Arkadelphia will send its offense on, but the Arkadelphia offense might have a little farther to go. This one might be marked off after the kick against Arkadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, not really any kind of clear indication of what the penalty is going to be. Referee hasn't really said anything to the press box. We can't really see what's going to happen. It looks like they might just put the ball down right where the punt was down and start the offense.
Well, they didn't wave off the flag, but apparently that's the effect here, because there has been no mark-off on the play, except they're spotting it now at the 34. So it's not really a 1-yard penalty, but it kind of amounts to that. And they're going to run. Here is an end around for Buster Thomas. He's up to the 40, makes it to the 45, 50-yard line, to the 40-yard line. Good run up to the 30, to the 25. Dragged out of bounds, but a beautiful run. His first real touch tonight for Buster Thomas.
And a great run of that. Buster Thomas just breaking to the left side, finding a open hole up the sideline and just blowing by Ashdown defenders. Unluckily for Ashdown, the last guy was able to drag him down, as Badgers are now almost in the red zone once again, knocking on the door again.
Ball at the 21-yard line of Ashdown. First down and 10, Badgers. Arkadelphia 37, Ashdown 12. 7:09 left. We're in the fourth quarter tonight. And the Badgers are piling it on here in the second half after leading by 8, 20-12 at halftime. It's 17-0 Arkadelphia here in the second half. Clock is not moving. Ashdown has no timeouts, trailing by 25, and Arkadelphia threatening to score again. From the 21, first down and 10. They'll send Thomas in motion. They'll fake the handoff. Turner's going to run it. He's got some room. Up the seam to the right side. He's inside the 15, falling near the 10-yard line. They'll spot it just outside of the 10. That's another good run, and that should be enough for a first down.
Yeah, that was a really nice run there from Turner up the middle on the read option. He made the right read and had a lot of space up the middle of the field. That's going to be a 9-yard run there. Marking it out at the 12, so it'll be 2nd and 1 here. And a good thing about that is the clock continues to roll now down within 6 minutes and 40 seconds. So the Badgers are just going to milk the clock with this big lead.
Not a great spot that time, but it's hard to complain. Arkadelphia looking good at 2nd down and 1. They spotted it just outside the 11 instead of just outside the 10.
I still got 1 over 3, Coach. They're playing the run.
But 2nd down and 1, 6:23 left, clock running. Arkadelphia will throw the ball to the sideline, incomplete, rolls out of bounds. I think that was a forward pass, not a lateral, forward pass. Or was it a lateral? Let's see what the officials decide. They're talking about it again. It was to the far sideline and over the head of Thomas. And they are going to spot it back, let's see, as a loss. As a loss back to the 18, 17-yard line.
Yes.
So instead of 2nd and 1, now it's going to be 3rd and long. 3rd, 7 yards to go. 3rd and 7 yards to go. Arkadelphia lining up. 3 receivers to the left side. Turner in the backfield by himself. Whitten at tight end to the right side. Turner wants to run. He's got some room again. Good run. He'll break 2 tackles, 3 tackles. He's got yardage inside the 5-yard line. That's a 1st down and goal.
Cannon Turner once again just dancing by Ashdown opposition, picking up another 1st down now inside the 10-yard line. He's been done a great job of that all tonight, whether it be through power or through agility. He's kind of done it all in the run game, and we've seen it once again right there.
Ball spotted at the 5-yard line. 1st down and goal, Arkadelphia at the 5-yard line of Ashdown. 5:31 left. Now clock is running. Arkadelphia with a big lead, trying to make it bigger. Here is a fullback run up the middle. I think he might have gotten there. Is the official going to call it? Yes, touchdown Arkadelphia. Rubel on the touchdown for the Badgers.
Yeah, the fullback run there. We've seen the Badgers go to that in those goal line situations a few times tonight, and that's the first time it's gotten in the end zone. So Rubel doing a good job there from the fullback spot. He's done a really nice job blocking tonight, and he's going to get a bit of glory now with a touchdown. So Rubel, fluctuates between wide receiver and fullback, but he does a really good job blocking at both positions. I think that's his biggest strength is as a blocking player, and that time getting the football in his hands and getting a touchdown.
Extra point attempt is up, and he made it. Well, they almost had a problem with it, but Turner had a little trouble with the snap and then got it up. A little hitch in that one, but somehow Goodman got it through anyway. It's good again. Arkadelphia 44, Ashdown 12, 5:22 left. We're in the 4th quarter. We'll be back in 30 seconds. And back here at the live stream, as soon as we get radio back, we're going to give you a score update as soon as radio is back with us at the end of this 30-second break. Arkadelphia is setting up for the kickoff. Arkadelphia 44, Ashdown 12, 5:22 left in the game. Ashdown and Arkadelphia are going to play it out, but this game is out of reach. The Arkadelphia Badgers really putting together a great second half. The Badgers have scored 24, Ashdown 0 here in the second half tonight of this rainy night in Ashdown, Arkansas. We're back with radio now as well as the live stream, so we want to give you a score update.
Yeah, there's a big score update out of Harmony Grove, and the Cardinals, who the Badgers beat last week 35-6, have beaten Nashville tonight 26-21. So that puts the Badgers back in contention for second place in the conference, because now Nashville has 2 losses, Arkadelphia has 2 losses, so Nashville holds the tiebreaker with a head-to-head win, but another loss for Nashville could mean Arkadelphia gets the second seed out of the 7-4A.
Goodman's kickoff will bounce in and through the end zone, touchback. Explain to me how that's possible after we saw Nashville beat Arkadelphia and we saw Harmony Grove dominated by Arkadelphia last week. An amazing development tonight.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I think Nashville might have had a bit of a maybe had a fortunate game against Arkadelphia with the rain and the mistakes that they won that game. And, last week they played Ashdown played them with 7 points. Right now Arkadelphia is beating Ashdown 44-12. At the same time, right now, Bauxite has the ball inside of Robinson's 20-yard line. 5 minutes left in that game, and they only trail by 8. So Bauxite has the ball inside in the red zone, a chance to tie the football game with less than 5 minutes left, and that's at Bauxite. So Bauxite looking good tonight. could beat Robinson.
Well, there's no crazy business in Ashdown tonight. It's Arkadelphia 44, Ashdown 12. Here's a running play to the left side. Arkadelphia's defense is there, but he breaks the tackle. This is a good run up to the 40, to the 45. Flags go down, and the tackle is made as he crosses the 50-yard line. Might see this one go against Ashdown with a block downfield, but that was still a very fine run by the running back, Neil Williams, Jr.
Yeah, good run there from Ashdown. Looks like the Badgers just kind of forgot how to tackle as he just bouncing off Arkadelphia guys on the defensive end, but it looks like there might be a holding call on Ashdown, which will bring it back a couple of yards.
Yeah, they're going to lose part of this gain with the block downfield, block in the back.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Neil Williams Jr., there wasn't a basketball goal on the field because he's the guy that can hook the rim with his elbow. So, unfortunately, that wasn't the case. It's a holding call. So
that's tough.
There was no call to dunk anything that time, although you could dunk in a puddle down there, I guess, because there's a lot of rain. 5:10 left, clock running now. Ashdown, of course, and not expecting to pull this one out, but they have no timeouts. They used them earlier, really before the fourth quarter. All right, Bauxite 35, Robinson 35.
Oh
my goodness gracious. Crazy business happened in the rain throughout the state of Arkansas tonight. Pitch to the left side, a little bit of room to run there, and that's going to be a gain of 7, 8, close to 9 yards on first down. And once again, the great dunk artist with a nice run, but an offensive lineman for Ashdown is slow in getting up. Clock continues to run, 4 minutes, 29 seconds, and running.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I mean, this game here is locked and loaded for Arkadelphia. The win is in the bag, but these scores around the state, these scores around the conference are really these scores around the coaches in the press box with us are telling us the game's not in the bag yet, 32-point lead. But you know, these scores around the conference are really surprising, and Arkadelphia, has a chance to get out from this chaos with a better position. We were talking at dinner tonight. Arkadelphia, if they get a 3 seed in the conference, they finish with a 3 seed, they likely have to play Warren in the second round. 2 seed, they bypass that Warren game and get a much easier side of the bracket. So that loss for Nashville today could really prove detrimental for them and beneficial for the Badgers come playoff time.
Pitching it to the left side, and Williams will gain some yardage, maybe enough for a first down, but not much more as he crosses the 45-yard line. And the clock is going to stop momentarily at 3:36. Well, I didn't think he made it to the sideline, but they are going to stop the clock maybe to move the chains. So it's a first down at the 46-yard line. First down and 10 for the Panthers. But they've been shut out in the second half. Arkadelphia led 20-12 at halftime, and the Badgers have outscored the Panthers 24-0 here in the second half.
Yeah, this Badgers defense has just done a fantastic job, whether it be Jason Campbell's interception touchdown run, just holding it up on the defense end. They've just done a great job tonight.
Going to be a handoff right up the middle, short yardage, short of the 50-yard line. Ooh, guys, you can stop pushing now. There you go. Gain up to the 49-yard line of Ashdown. The clock's going to keep rolling. It's going to roll inside 3 minutes before they snap the ball again. Well, they gave him a good spot there, up very close to the 50-yard line, a gain of 4. Second down and 6 coming. Ashdown not in a hurry. We're under 3 minutes to play in the game. Maybe the last possession for this Ashdown offense. They'd like to get a score here in the second half, even though they're not going to be able to catch up. Arkadelphia's defense has thrown a second half shutout. They want to keep that going. From the 50, they'll send a man in motion. They're going to hand it to him. This is a stocky young running back. He's going to make yardage up to the 45-yard line. And the clock will continue to run because he did not get out of bounds. And he did not make a first down. They're going to mark him down at the Arkadelphia 40, looks like the 46-yard line, maybe the 45-yard line, they'll say. On the carry that time for Ashdown was Javon Allen, a sophomore. He's 5'10" and weighs 210 pounds. Pretty big running back for the Panthers.
And that time he was able to use his strength to get a couple extra yards there. Ashdown now close to another first down.
Third down and short. Ashdown lines up once again in the T formation. They're going to run it again, but Arkadelphia is there, and I don't think he's going to make that first down, guys. Gang tackling late in the game here. Arkadelphia fighting through. preventing a first down on 3rd and 1. It's 4th and 3.
Really good job by Arkadelphia there on that play. The guy making that first hit was Jason Campbell, the defensive end. Once again, he's had a big game. He got a pick 6 earlier in the game and making another big tackle there late. He's not going to stop playing. Another guy in there was Sammy Hawthorne. He's come in at linebacker last couple of weeks and played some big roles, and he helped out to finish that tackle. So now 4th down situation here for Ashdown, and they've got to get 3 yards to pick up a first.
And Ashdown on 4th down wants to pass. They'll throw it downfield. Oh, we caught it. That's a first down. He's down to the 30, to the 25-yard line, crossing the field to the 20, to the 15. This is Nutt all the way down to the 11-yard line with a very nice catch and run for the Panthers.
Yeah, KJ Terry was in good position guarding the offensive player there, but he ran into the referee. So he was guarding the receiver on the play, and then he ran into the referee and allowed for an open defender.
Oh, we just waved off the flag. That was at the 20-yard line. Waved off the flag at the 20-yard line. And so it is. First down and 10 for the Panthers at the Arkadelphia 11-yard line. Badgers trying to keep this second half shutout alive, but leading comfortably in the game with only 1 minute left to play. We're now under a minute left in the game. Rain still coming down as it has throughout the game tonight. Quarterback will hand it off to Nutt. He looks for space around the left side. He'll make some space. He's near the end zone. He's knocked down before he got there. Knocked down before he got there and inbounds. The clock continues to run. 40 seconds left.
All right, I have an update from Bauxite once again. So less than 2 minutes left in the game. Robinson fumbles the football on their own 29-yard line, and Bauxite recovers. So now Bauxite has the football inside the Robinson 30-yard line. Less than 2 minutes to go. If they score, they take the lead, probably defeat the Senators.
Oh, my goodness. Bauxite undefeated, but really not expected to stay that way. But they might just do it. They might just beat Robinson tonight. Arkadelphia is going to get a win tonight. Here's a run up the middle. Arkadelphia will stop it. They stopped it short of the goal line, and that's it. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. That is the game, folks. Arkadelphia 44, Ashdown 12. Arkadelphia 44, Ashdown 12. That's the final, and we'll be back with the postgame show in 30 seconds. On the live stream, we're right back here with you to give you the good news once again that Arkadelphia has sealed this game tonight. It was a tough game, especially in the first half. Arkadelphia led it 20-12. Badgers led it 14-0. It looked like it might be a blowout early, but then Ashdown came back with 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. But Arkadelphia came back with 2 field goals to stretch it out to a 20-12 lead at halftime. Well, it was all Arkadelphia in the second half. Arkadelphia dominated to the tune of 24-0 in the second half, and the Badgers win it 44-12. Well, we've got exciting games across the state, exciting games in this conference. We're going to bring you those scores. We're going to bring you an opportunity to hear statistics from Jim Rothwell, and we'll be talking about this Arkadelphia Badger team on their 3-game win streak and their dominating win tonight against Ashdown. When we come back, we'll be back with more of the postgame show in 2 minutes. On our live stream, you're going to be able to hear our post-game show, and you're going to see the Badger logo here, as there is not a lot to show you except more rainfall right here in the press box as well. But we want to say a big thank you to Ashton Spence tonight. He was on camera and did a super job of bringing you this under adverse conditions. She was under a tent that Chris Babb set up, and she was able to contort to be able to sit in the stands and shoot some good video for us tonight. Low angle, of course, but we're able to bring you some good video tonight because of the work of Ashton Spence, a junior at Ouachita Baptist University. Chris Babb had a good game also. He'll join us in a few minutes in the post-game show. We want to thank him for setting up and keeping everything dry and keeping us on the air tonight. We appreciate him, and, of course, we appreciate our friends back, Lance Larkin and also Bruce Guthrie at KDEL, FM 100.9 in Arkadelphia. Once again, bringing you the action all, for many, many years on KDEL, and for the first year here on our video live stream. Arkadelphia got the win tonight, 44-12. The Badgers have won their third straight game, and are now 3-5 overall, 3-2 in conference play. Caleb, do we have an update on what else is going on in the conference?
Yeah, so we haven't had a score all night out of Fountain Lake and Malvern. We finally have one. That game's still in the third quarter. So
wow,
slow-moving game there. 14-0 Fountain Lake leaves Malvern. Malvern is winless so far on the season, so it looks like they're not going to pick up a win tonight against Fountain Lake. Probably would be their best chance of the season to get a win.
Both teams 0-4 in conference play, so Fountain Lake looking to try to make a late move in the standings with the games that they have left on the schedule by winning tonight at Malvern, getting their first win in conference play. Fountain Lake probably not their year, but they dearly wanted to win tonight. It looks like they might be able to get one if they can hold up the rest of the second half against Malvern.
Right, and then, of course, the big story, as of right now, the biggest story out of the night is that Harmony Grove came out on top against Nashville 26-21. Harmony Grove was down 21-12 in the third quarter, came back in that game to win 26-21. According to Fearless Friday discussion forums, Nashville had 25 penalties in the game. And, Nashville fans are really passionate about their football, always going to look for, what might be the cause and looking to blame the referees maybe a little bit. But 25 penalties is definitely, it's not all the referees. You have to be making some mistakes to get 25 penalties.
And you have to wonder how much concentration and bad weather has to do with that as well.
Right. And then we mentioned it earlier, and I'm going to refresh my phone. I refreshed it 2 seconds ago, and it still hasn't updated us anymore on Robinson and Bauxite, other than it is tied in the fourth quarter, less than 2 minutes to go. Bauxite has the ball inside the Robinson 30-yard line.
Caleb, both of those teams were 4-0 in conference play coming in. Not a surprise at all for Robinson. A surprise for Bauxite, not that they're having a good year, but they're still undefeated at 7-0 and 4-0 in conference play for the year. They'll launch themselves undisputed lead now. They'll be the only undefeated team in the conference. If they can beat Robinson tonight, it'd be a huge upset. Most of the polls have Robinson number 1 in the state.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier that Arkadelphia, or that Bauxite is 7-0 right now, but they haven't played the hardest part of their schedule yet. Robinson, Arkadelphia, and Nashville to end the season. Well, getting a win here, and that makes the race for those the top 4 playoff spots in the 7-4A really interesting, because Nashville getting a loss tonight, now they have 2 losses. Arkadelphia has 2 losses. Bauxite, if they get a win tonight, they're at the top, and then Robinson's in second with only 1 loss. So that puts Arkadelphia in 4th. So it'll be really interesting to see how it ends up. And, those teams just knocking each other off one after the other. I mean, who knows? Arkadelphia could even come out on top in the conference.
It certainly does mean that Arkadelphia has plenty of incentive to get the win against Bauxite. Now, even if Bauxite doesn't win tonight, they have shown themselves to be a quality team. Arkadelphia would love to have a victory tonight, or had the victory tonight. They'd love to have one next week so they could run up to a 4-2 by the time they play Malvern, and probably finish then at 5-2 overall. They're going to enjoy an opportunity to knock off Bauxite next week just about as much as they're enjoying playing in the mud right now.
Arkadelphia players all diving into the mud. They decided they're already muddy enough. Might as well get a little bit more muddy. Maybe take a shower in the locker. I mean, I'm sure all their parents are going to make them take a shower in the locker room before they get in the car. They're just absolutely covered in mud, and they keep coming, diving. The sideline in Arkadelphia has just been covered in mud all game, and they decide they're just going to take advantage of it, have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, they are having a great time sliding around in the mud down here, and now Cannon Turner's going to take his choice. Let's see if he gets the longest slide. Well, that's a pretty long slide, about a 15-yard slide in the mud. We haven't seen any parents do it yet. Here comes Coach Eldridge. He's not going to slide in the mud, is he? No, I think surely not. Surely not. I don't think that's going to happen. But what you see is a joyous team right now because they've won 3 in a row and they've put themselves in a position where they're going to be dangerous in the playoffs no matter what the seed is.
Yeah, and they have, and they've really come back from that slow start to the season. Ashdown, before the season, Ashdown was predicted to be the number 11 team in the state. So Ashdown has some good quality on the team, and I think that was really shown tonight. Ashdown has a quality football team. Arkadelphia is, I think, better coached and better disciplined and able to pick up a victory against a good team tonight. And that's going to come out later in the season. You see them having fun out there on the field, and they're going to keep having fun as long as they keep winning. But next week is going to be a big test, and really a test I don't think Arkadelphia saw coming at the beginning of the season, that Bauxite was going to be this good. And they're going to have to put in a good effort as Bauxite comes to visit Badger Stadium for senior night.
We're going to go to Jim Rothwell and get a statistical report on tonight's action. He is wrapping that up as we speak, and he's going to bring that to us here momentarily. And maybe by the time we're through with that, Caleb, we'll get another update on Robinson. Do you have one right now?
I have one right now. There's under a minute left to play. This was at 9:40, so 2 minutes ago. There was under a minute left to play, and Bauxite has the ball inside Robinson's 20-yard line. Not sure how good is Bauxite's kicker. If he can make a 30-yard field goal, then that's a possibility to make a field goal and win the game. So we'll have to see. They made all 5 of their extra points tonight, so I'm not sure if he has the ability to make a 30-yard field goal, however.
Obviously, there's been a lot of rain, and I mean a lot of rain here in southwest Arkansas and Ashdown. I don't know how much rain has been hitting the rest of the state. It'll be fascinating to see if weather played a part in these 2 very surprising games, Bauxite and Robinson. We still don't know who's going to win that one, but Bauxite has an opportunity to win it. And then the big upset with Harmony Grove, a team that Arkadelphia just absolutely dominated last week, getting the win tonight against Nashville. Hard to believe, Jim, but this is football. This is high school football. Anything can happen. That's been proven year after year, and it's been proven again tonight.
Oh, well, especially on a night.
We got one more update.
All right, so right here, Seth McDowell, the quarterback from Bauxite, scored a touchdown. So Bauxite leads 41-35 now, less than a minute left over Robinson, the number 1 team in the state.
Robinson's got a long way to go then to catch up because they gave up not a field goal but a touchdown late in the game, and they trail Bauxite. Let me say that one more time. If you're driving home from this game and picking up KDEL and you're wondering what in the world we're talking about with Bauxite beating Robinson, it's happening right now, late in the ball game. How much time left?
Less than a minute left.
Less than a minute left for Robinson to try to get a touchdown to catch up, and we've already seen Harmony Grove defeat Nashville tonight. The only game that's not surprising in the conference right now, I suppose, besides the 2 last-place teams that just are still playing, that being Malvern and Fountain Lake, is Arkadelphia's big win tonight in Ashdown at 44-12. I promise, Jim, we're about to go to you for stats, but let's see if we can get a final score on this Robinson game first.
We don't have a final score yet, but I do see that Bauxite did miss the extra point. So if Robinson were to take the kickoff back, they could score the extra point and win the game by 1.
Yeah, a lot left. We'll go to stats, and then we'll come back to the scoreboard and see if we can get a final on that game. Jim.
All right, for Arkadelphia, some key stats. Cannon Turner had a big night rushing, 14 carries for 158 yards, 1 TD, particularly in the second half. He made some really strong runs, sort of carried the team on a couple of drives. He was 1 for 8 passing for just 3 yards, but a lot of that is the weather tonight. There were several times the receiver slipped, and the ball, they either dropped it or they slipped down. So that could be expected. Again, 3 yards on 1 of 8 for passing. Hatley had only 8 carries for 44 yards, but he did have 2 touchdowns. Again, particularly the first half, Arkadelphia was playing with the short field because of the turnovers. Arkadelphia did have 2 fumbles. They lost 1 but recovered the other, so pretty effective there, no interceptions. Again, a big night for Gabe Goodman with 3 field goals. Again, he's such a weapon putting that ball in the end zone with the field goals and punting. He had a punt down inside the 5 or close right there to that. So big night from him again. Ashdown, the yardage came from passing on a couple of big plays. Bradley Bearden was only 6 out of 14, but he did have 136 yards passing and the 1 touchdown there. Keeman Nutt, again, great athlete, 3 receptions for 135 yards, some big plays. Rushing, he was 3 rushes for 19 yards. No one else for for Ashdown really had any didn't have any total yardage over 30. So again, Arkadelphia really did a good job of shutting down the running game, except for that one long run that they did have, and I'm not sure who that was. That may have been Nutt on that one too. But turnovers, that was one of the things that Ashdown struggled with in the first half. They had 3 fumbles, lost 2 of them, but those 2 led to some Arkadelphia points early. Do we have an update?
Yeah, there's 12 seconds left in the game, so that's all the time left, and Bauxite's yet to kick off back to Robinson. So it's really going to be just the kickoff, maybe one heave to the end zone. Robinson's have a chance. And if they score, Robinson could win the game with an extra point.
I think we might see a kickoff out of bounds, so they'd have to start at the 35. That wouldn't be too surprising. That wouldn't leave them maybe 2 plays, right, from the 35.
I would do that. And then, of course, 2 interceptions by Arkadelphia. One the TD by the defense. Jason Campbell came through with a big interception there that sort of flipped the game over, I think, at that point. Ashdown was sort of still in the game. Arkadelphia had a lead, but that touchdown sort of just flipped everything in Arkadelphia's direction.
Campbell, an interception for a touchdown for Arkadelphia, as you said, to seal the game. Do we have a final now?
We don't have a final, but we do know what happened on the kickoff. Bauxite attempts an onside kick, fails. Robinson has the ball on the 50-yard line with 8 seconds left.
Oh, my. They can probably heave it to the end zone from there.
What you doing?
We'll see it. Jim saying, why would you onside kick? I guess the element of surprise, Jim. Everything's been a surprise tonight except here in Ashdown where Arkadelphia got the big win. We're going to see how this turns out with Robinson. My goodness, we might see Bauxite, an undefeated 5-0 team in the conference, 8-0 overall when Arkadelphia plays them next week. It's looking that way unless Robinson can score on the last play of the game.
Again, tonight, Elements played a key part in the game.
That's final.
It's a final. That's it. Robinson has lost to Bauxite tonight. What's the final score?
41-35. Bauxite with the win.
41-35. Robinson goes to 4-1. Bauxite goes to 5-0. So Arkadelphia will have the challenge of playing an undefeated 5-0, 8-0 team next week in Bauxite. That is a home game for Arkadelphia. Robinson is 4-1. Nashville is 3-2. Arkadelphia is 3-2, and Harmony Grove is 3-2. It's all up for grabs in the last 2 weeks,
Jim. It really is. It'll be interesting. I'm glad Arkadelphia front-loaded their schedule to get Nashville and Robinson out of the way early because with Bauxite, of course, it's going to be tough. But again, it's nice to sort of have these on the back end here. But
nice to be at home next week for Arkadelphia, for sure.
It'll probably be senior night too, so. It'll be a big night there in Arkadelphia.
Wrap up our stats for us, if you would, Jim, and then we'll have an offensive, defensive player of the game.
Okay, again, Cannon Turner, big night on the rushing, 14 carries for 158 yards, one TD. Hatley did have 2 TDs, didn't have a lot of yardage. Goodman with the 3 field goals. Turnovers by Ashdown played a key part, particularly early in the game, where Arkadelphia took advantage of those fumbles and was able to put some points on the board. And then again, Jason Campbell's interception sort of just flipped the game completely to Arkadelphia's direction, I thought.
Jim Rothwell, thank you so much on stats tonight. You got to stay dry in the drier part of the press box.
That's right. I didn't have a leak over my part.
I'll tell you what, though, it's going to rain on us on the way to the car. Thank you so much for your work again tonight. Let's get Jack back in a headset, and we'll do the same with Caleb, and we'll talk about an offensive and a defensive player of the game. Offensive player of the game, boy, I got to lean toward Cannon Turner. What do you think?
I'd probably have to go the same on that one. Cannon Turner tonight just doing an outstanding job on the pass game. But tonight, with these conditions, we knew he was going to have to step up in the run game, and I think he did just that tonight. Really stepping up when it mattered, getting the first downs, really the power runs. Like I was talking about earlier, able to do it through power, through speed, and through agility as well. And we saw that from all 3. Really an all-out runner, Cannon Turner was tonight, so I'd have to give him as my offensive player of the game.
Caleb, 158 yards rushing for Turner tonight. He scored 1 touchdown. Hatley didn't have as many yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Cannon Turner's going to get my player of the game as well. Like you said, 150-plus yards for Turner, so that's a very good performance from quarterback. And he really showed a lot of vision out there tonight. Didn't have to break too many tackles, but ran between the tackles, got some power runs, and then a few times he broke long runs and showed some good vision and followed his offensive lineman. And you have to give them a shout-out as well. The offensive line did a really fine job blocking for Turner and putting him in situations where he didn't have to break tackles. He was able just to run straight ahead untouched and get some good yardage.
I like the formations and the play calls also, as they would spread the defense out and then let Turner run away from where the secondary is lined up to cover the receivers. It really made a difference.
Yeah, we saw some different formations from Arkadelphia. We haven't seen too much. It looks like they're taking a play call out of Todd Knight's book at Washita. They're running the Turner at quarterback with 2 fullbacks in front of him, almost what Washita's been doing with Brockton Brown, and then running those power runs to the right, to the left, and picking up some power yardage with Turner. And that's how you saw Arkadelphia score the touchdown, was out of that formation, power run, and straight to the quarterback.
Caleb, we've said in recent years this is a coaching staff that can make adjustments during a game, but they certainly make adjustments for each opponent that they play.
Yeah, and then that showed tonight. When you play a team like Ashdown, like we said last week, Harmony Grove was running almost the same offense as Ashdown, but they couldn't throw the ball. Well, this week, Ashdown comes out and they can throw the ball, so they're going to have to adjust for that and adjust that they're going to play the passing game, and they have to give that passing game respect, and they did that tonight, and they did a good job covering both the pass and the run from Ashdown.
I'm going to start with you, defensive player of the game.
That is a really tough one because a lot of people played really well. I'm going to give a shout-out to one player who's not going to win player of the game, but Josh Wallace did a really nice job at middle linebacker. Made a lot of tackles in the backfield. But the player of the game, I think, has to be Jason Campbell. He's really come on strong this year. Last year, the best defensive lineman, DeMarco Britton, graduated. Jason Campbell stepped up and filled the gap this year. And he's done an excellent job. He kept getting in the backfield, wreaking havoc, and he even picked up a pick six. So you saw how excited everyone in the crowd was in the pick six, everyone on the team. Campbell picked up the ball in the screenplay and then ran in the end zone. He had 10 yards to go. No one was in front of him, and he ran to the end zone with the ball up in the air the whole time. He didn't put it under his arm or anything. He just held it up in the air. He was so excited. Got in the end zone and scored a touchdown. So Jason Campbell will be my defensive player of the game.
Jack, your defensive player of the game.
It's kind of hard to go against Jason Campbell, and I'm going to have to go right back to him. Like tonight, just really not only did he just perform well, but we saw him have a whole lot of fun out there doing it as well, especially at the end of the game. I think he might have known that we were going to give him defensive player of the game, as I saw him slide into the mud river on the sideline. So Jason Campbell, my defensive player of the game, just an outstanding game in every way tonight, so I'd have to give it to him.
Cole Turner always plays well at linebacker. Josh Wallace, solid as a rock at linebacker. Kai Harrison plays some linebacker as always, also played some running back tonight. Those guys deserve accolades. I'll tell you what, the defensive line played well. The secondary played well. Victor Tadame, a lot of man-to-man defense tonight. He did it beautifully, but I'm going to agree with you. Our defensive player of the game is Jason Campbell. Our offensive player of the game, the quarterback, Cannon Turner, and we're going to name a special teams player tonight because, guys, what a game in the pouring rain for Goodman. 3 for 3 on field goals, including a 41-yard field goal and 5 for 5 on extra points.
Yeah, Goodman had a really nice game in the special teams, but this might be the first time in a few weeks that you have some competition. Given how good of a game Goodman had on special teams, Tadamy had a great game as well. 2 long returns
That's right.
that led to Arkadelphia scores. So, every week, Coach Eldridge says on the G.R. Eldridge show on Tuesday evenings every week, he says our special teams player of the game was Gabe Goodman this week, and it seems pretty obvious because he's not really any returns for the Arkadelphia team to speak for usually, but this week Tadamy did a really nice job returning the punts.
He did a fantastic job, kickoff return as well as punt return for Tadamy. We don't normally name, though, a special teams player of the week, so I got to go with Goodman because his 3 field goals all came when the game was still in doubt, under pressure, including the 41-yarder that was on the last play of the first half that gave Arkadelphia its 8-point lead at halftime. Also perfect on extra points here in this pouring rain on the muddy field. Beautiful job by Goodman. Well, next week lines up to be an outstanding contest, fellas, as Arkadelphia will play an undefeated Bauxite team. Caleb, give us a preview.
Yeah, that's going to be a really tough game. Bauxite is really well coached. Daryl Patton's the coach at Bauxite, coming from Fayetteville High School, coming into Bauxite a few years ago, and he's really turned the program around there. Obviously, this win of Robinson is a statement win. They're 8-0. They really hadn't beat anyone substantial up to this point, though. This Robinson win is the first one, but what a win for Bauxite. And a lot of people, not giving them credit because saying they hadn't beat anybody yet, but now they have. They beat Robinson, so that's a big win. Arkadelphia, they're going to be motivated going into next week, though. They're not going to overlook Bauxite. They're going to look at that score against Robinson, and they're going to be ready to play.
Bauxite made a huge statement tonight, but I tell you what, Arkadelphia and Bauxite, that's going to be a whale of a game next week also. Thank you very much, Caleb. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jim. Last words are coming from our man, Chris Babb.
Yeah, and that game will be at home, and we thank these sponsors for the live stream a lot, but I want to take, after tonight, to thank our sponsors for the turf on All Care Field at Badger Stadium, because it makes an amazing difference when you have a night like this. Obviously, Senator Person Malone and All Care Pharmacy, it's All Care Field. And then you just take a note when you come next Friday night to All Care Field at Badger Stadium of the sponsors: Turner Rogers, Manning and Plyler, Southern Bank Corps, South Arkansas Veterinary Hospital, Mary and Martha's, Taylor King and Associates, Southwest Sporting Goods, Clark County Farm Bureau, Arnold Batson, Turner and Turner, and then NATF. So thank those sponsors for providing the turf on All Care Field at Badger Stadium, because we can play on a field like that instead of
one like this.
Yeah, you said it. You said it. And
I tell you what, we're going to say thank you to Chris Babb and J.R. Eldridge also for their work on that project. It is going to be a great pleasure to see that game on turf, rain or shine, next Friday night. Well, we want to say thank you to all of our sponsors for the live stream also, and all of our radio sponsors tonight. You've been listening to KDEL FM 100.9 in Arkadelphia, and also here on the video live stream, brought to you by Ashton Spence and brought to you by the Communications Department at Ouachita Baptist University, plus Chris Babb, our engineer. Want to say thank you to Jim Rothwell on statistics, to Jack Bennington and Caleb Bird on commentary. This is Jeff Root, everybody, reminding you the final score tonight was Arkadelphia 44, Ashdown 12. Arkadelphia moves to 3-2 in conference play in a very, very interesting conference race. We're going to bring you a major showdown next week, Arkadelphia taking on Bauxite. That's it for tonight. Good night, everybody. And Abby, Daddy is on his way home.